Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh yeah.
This is
Hello everyone.
it's gonna be an experience, everybody.
We're ready for our Sisyphusian task.
Oh my god. I thought Watsy was gonna kill us with what was it? Lord of the Rings?
Yeah,
And then they
with a
said hold
100.
my beer.
Yeah, they did. An average of 10 per Final Fantasy
Oh
game.
my god. And what the worst part about it? 14 gets its own stream. That's all I gotta
Yeah,
say.
14's probably gonna have to be its own stream. It's
14,
so many.
14 gets its own stream because it has so many, and so many we actually have to put thought into.
Yeah, let me get a quick count on that. How many is, or at least based on my list, assuming that everything is correct. There's, it's 27. It's maybe not entirely its own stream, but yeah, it's so many.
It's pretty bad.
But hey, how's everyone doing today?
Yep.
Hope you guys are doing well and hope you're ready for this because we are going to do the first 6 Final Fantasy games for this because if we did this monocolored like we normally do, we would do 40, not quite 40, but about like 25 commanders of just mono white, and that's, no thank you.
Not fun.
So we figured it'd be more fun to do it by game.
And plus, we know what people actually want to see. So.
Just want to see us talk about Terra.
They want to see us talk about FF6 stuff. And then eventually FF7, 10. So.
To be fair, 6 has a lot of spicy stuff in there.
It does. It does. I agree.
Yeah.
Alright. Here we go.
Should we jump in? Alright.
Garland.
Alright, Garland, Knight of Cornelia. This is a Rakdos for a 3/2 legendary creature, Human Knight. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil 1. Then you can pay 3 generic, 2 black, 2 red to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield transformed, activate only as a sorcery, and on the backside of it, it is just a 5/5 demon with flying, and when it dies, you put it on the bottom of your deck, but we're playing commander, so it's going to your command zone. So...
This card sucks.
Yep. So, unfortunately, this is one of those weird ones where right off the bat, we have a weird bit for our rating. Okay, so, a reminder for Zur Scale stuff. We rate everything from a 1 to a 10, with 10 being like it's broken or, could potentially be ban-worthy sort of thing. And 1s being just not good at all. We highly advise not playing them. They either just don't give you enough to work with, or they have no text, functional, like literally could be a vanilla creature with nothing to it. And then a 0 is it just actively hurts you to play it. Those rarely come up. There will be one that comes up later. The thing here is, we aren't doing this for CDH. CDH is a partial consideration in things. However, we are addressing this from casual commander perspective with an understanding of you're building around your commander trying to do what it wants to do. How are we doing 5 hours? It will not take us 5 hours to go through only the first 6 of these. It's only 40 of them.
We're splitting this up into probably about, I would say probably about 4 streams is how long it's going to take us.
Mm-hmm. About 40 per stream.
Yeah.
But also high wolf span. So here's the deal. If you look at EDH Rec, pretty much everything that I see here is CDH because
of course it is.
It's a Dragon's Rage Channeler that you can put in the command zone that tells you to do stormy stuff. Okay. Even then, I would consider this a fringe CDH deck at best. It would not be much of meta or really mattering at all. So the question is, do I even need to consider the CDH stuff here, even if it's over 50% of the decks?
No. I
don't think so. I think if you're going to try to build around...
I'm putting this in a solid 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, 2-mana commanders are really good, generally speaking, but they have to actually, do something. Garland does not do anything. And if you try to do, the casual deck that I've seen for him is basically using him as a sacrifice piece for a Reanimator deck, where it's like, you loot and surveil to get your big creatures into your graveyard, and then you play, Victimize and related things to get him into the graveyard, because you do intend to bring him back as a 5-mana, or as a a 7 mana 5/5 demon, which is just like, okay, you are kind of hurting yourself if you are going and trying to do the second half of this card.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Solid.
Get to just disregard it.
Another Dragon's Rage Channeler for decks that want it, though. Solid 99 card. Just commander-wise, nah.
Yeah, like, it's okay in the 99 if you are just using it for the top half. And that's the interesting thing.
All right, Jason.
For us, we don't want to disregard stuff if we don't have to.
We got a spicy meatball that cost 1 too many mana. An old Minwu here. White Mage. 3 white for a legendary creature. Human Cleric. 3/3. Vigilance lifelink. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each cleric you control. Notably, all of the Soul Sisters are clerics.
Yes. So, congratulations. We have put one very, very, very massive Ajani's Pridemate in the command zone.
Yes.
It does, in fact, have lifelink on it, so it will at least enable.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's honestly the main thing I'm considering here. It's a payoff. It's a decent payoff. But it enables, and that's the most important thing. Do we have a white persist creature?
No.
I think we do.
We do not.
Yeah, we have some stuff to care about lifelink and etc. It's fine.
Like I said, held back by it cost 5 mana. At 4, I would love this. I would think it's phenomenal. At 5, it's a pretty hard sell on mono white.
Yeah, the mana cost is rough. Fortunately, we did get all the crystals, which will maybe help me reevaluate some of my perspective on monocolored decks. But I need to actually play with them to get that opinion.
And the white crystal is like the second best crystal in Commander, so...
See, it's the funny thing. I generally view it as like the worst one because it's only life gain stuff. But at the same time, for a monocolored deck, that's really applicable for white.
Even for white-black, like I would still play a doubling life gain in that, so...
Yeah. It would be better if there were better clerics. It's kind of a mid-subtype. I actually don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think clerics are actually pretty solid. They are very linearly focused on doing the whole
notably cleric
healing, life gain. Yeah.
Cleric.
They have a very clear identity, and the thing is, even if they are kind of mid creatures on their own, Minwu's whole thing is turning them into not mid creatures. So,
hey, Jason, I heard 1 mana 5/5s are good. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
like
I agree. It's I and also like just Guide of Souls. You get to play Guide of Souls.
You do?
Which is really good at helping the whole like, hey, my creatures are mid, but they don't have evasion. Cool. Any of them can have evasion now.
Oh, by the way, all these modified lords just work because it's 1/1 counters.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not 100% sure how I feel on that one, but
I don't know. I
don't hate it.
I'd like to give all my clerics lifelink and flying, and
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it's still clunky. It's still mono white stuff.
Yep.
It's maybe a 4, but probably a 3.
It's probably a 3. God, I hope I didn't miss the card here.
Well,
some of these art. Well, Jason also didn't do me any favors earlier.
Hey. Every single one of those cards are ones I found. Shut up, you. Oh yeah.
I'm feeling a solid 3. It's still meh. If we were like, 5 mana, but we had white-black, oh, then we'd be talking. We'd be cooking. But
yeah. I guess probably should actually do like rounding out our whole ratings things because that's how the scale works. So going back to Garland for just a second, the color support's like a 9 because Rakdos Spellslinger does kind of exist but not fully exist.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of looting and stuff to do, stuff that cares about the graveyard. Flexibility, not ton. It's there. 3s and 4s. I'll say 4.
Yeah, I'll say 4.
Then as for Minwu, which literally every time I say that, my mind just wants to go wee woo wee woo. It's the ambulance. But yeah, you got a 10 out of 10 on your support. Your flexibility is pretty low though, about a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe just a 1 because like you have to play as many clerics as possible and as many life gain effects.
I think it's just a 1.
Cool.
You are forced to play Soul Sisters. Now, while Soul Sisters are good, 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's good enough for me. On to the next one.
On to old Firion here.
All right. Firion, Wild Rose Warrior. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature. Human Rebel Warrior. Equipped creatures you control have haste. And whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except for it. The equip cost is 2 less to activate. Sacrifice a token at the beginning of the next upkeep. Good night.
It's alright.
Yeah, equip things get haste.
Yeah. I like
There's
the
a lot
spice of just slamming a bunch of swords on my Firion for 3 mana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, like, I don't know how good the whole, like, reducing the equip costs is going to matter here for the token copies, because, like, there could be a whole thing where it's, like...
Matters to this one.
Yeah, like, levels of this, right? Like, I get to play my equipment, I get a token copy that I can equip right away. I maybe can't equip the original right away, but I can at least get the copy, so it's like... Pseudo?
We found it.
Oh yeah, that's the one I love to see.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Blood Force Battle Axe. Absolutely 10 out of 10 to see. But no, the thing I'm getting at there is like, okay, I put my stuff into play, I get my equipment, I equip it, I do something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm pushing too much value in the long term because red, and then I'm gonna have a whole bunch of equipment sitting in play where I didn't necessarily accrue any value off of them, or they're just kind of like okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to whoever is putting Corey Steelcutter in this deck, please don't. I don't think that is a good card for this deck.
That gives trample and haste. That's all you actually care about for it.
It gives trample. That's all I care about because
yeah,
they already have haste.
I mean,
Firion takes care of that.
I mean, sure, it gives +1/+1 to trample, and then also might make a monk.
No, actually, I guess is there any like? So they have living weapons as part of this. It gives all the Formurdan stuff haste. Okay, that's actually kind of nice. Well, I mean, the Formurdan stuff's not exactly strong though. Like, the adaptive Omnitools, interesting. It's not to equip one. But yeah.
I mean, it's like some not bad equipment. That
no. Oh, the welders are fun here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just enters, right?
Yeah, this was just when it enters. Huh. Okay, this does not... Hold on, it changes the equip cost?
Yep. Equip cost is reduced by 2. Notably, it does not say with a cap of 1.
Yeah. Notably, it's just the equip abilities are reduced. Which is not reconfigure?
Not reconfigure.
So, okay.
Lizard Blades does not work here.
Yes, that is the important part I was trying to get at. Lizard Blades is showing up in 40% of the decks, and I don't fault them for doing it, because just giving Double Strike is good, but it does not work here. And it is a cheap Double Striker to get the equipment, so... Okay. Still hard for me to say how good this is. Still probably just a 3, but it's a little more towards a 4 for me. I don't know if it's better than Minwu by comparison.
I think Minwu is unironically better, but not by much.
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah, I think 3 is probably fine then.
Because you're still going to run into the other problem that equipment decks have of, well, we still have to actually equip our equipment.
Mhm.
Because we do not have ways of cheating it super easily outside of like Godo
Yep.
and a card we'll talk about in a little bit.
Which I am looking forward to talking about. Okay, so then with Firion, so I don't think it gets better for us to split an optimized rating on this
Nope.
guy. He's going to be a 3 for his normal, 3 for his optimized. For the color support, red equipment has gotten a lot better. I don't think it's still at like a 10.
It's almost like a 9 though.
Yeah, 8, 9 somewhere I was thinking, probably 9.
Like the fact that we now actually have a mana dork in mono red for equipment, just
that's nice to have. Yeah. Oh yeah, one of the things I was thinking about a moment ago, I don't think I vocalized it very well, is maybe I should be thinking, like, are there any cheap equipment or cheap creatures that you would want to cast and then give an equipment right away to benefit from haste? I don't think that matters enough.
monkey,
big one.
Monkey, big one.
But I think that's kind of it.
Monkey's pretty good one. Yeah, that's about it. But monkey, pretty good one.
All right. Then Firion, not too flexible. You're kind of just doing the punchy stuff, so 2 in the flexibility. And 3 for the power itself, because it's kind of the... Well, I mean, honestly, maybe the equipment's better than Firion is, but it's fine. We have too many things to consider today to spend too much time on Firion.
Yep. Especially because we have to think about this next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, boy.
So, story time, chat. Me and Jason were talking about this earlier, and we both came to the consensus of this card on face value is good. Neither one of us know the exact right balance to actually build this deck.
Yep.
So, here's Sid, Timeless Artificer. 2 white-blue for a 4/4 legendary creature, Human Artificer. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each Artificer you control and each other Artificer in your graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid, Timeless Artificer, and then he has cycling for a white and a blue.
Okay, so here is the sad and maybe unfortunate thing that I came to the realization of early on here. This is maybe the only card... Thank you. That's it. This is maybe the only one of these you can have any number of cards in a deck where I legitimately only want the one in my command zone. I don't know if I actually want any more than a single copy of Sid in my deck for the effect, because the legend rule.
I might like 2 or 3 just to cycle, but man, I'm kind of with you. I only want 1, maybe 2 to 3. I don't want more than that.
Yeah, and it's hard to think if there's anything that makes it very clearly how do I put it? It clearly improves because I put more Sids in my deck, right? Like, getting double of this effect and playing around the legend rule component of things maybe actually is the correct way to go about it. But notably, the Sids themselves are artificers. They are not heroes or artifact creatures.
Mm-hmm.
You can make them into artifact creatures. That's actually not too terribly difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's whatever that random 4-mana artifact from one of the new Phyrexia sets that turns everything into artifacts, yeah. It's like Encroaching Mycosynth or something like that.
Encroaching Mycosynth, Mycosynth Lattice would do it. We've got ways of doing it.
Yeah, and of course Maskwood Nexus makes it so that all of your creatures are every type, so that's another way to do it. That said, I don't know, feels like the best way to play this is just generic artifacts with artificers as support.
Which, I mean, sounds like a blue-white artifacts deck, if I've ever heard one.
Yep. Yeah, it just seems like it's fine.
It seems like exactly what you want to be doing. It's just now you get something that buffs up everything.
Yeah. still seriously can't figure out whether or not I want to have more than one copy of Sid in the deck. And that throws me off so much.
It's a 3-mana artifact that ignores the legend rule. Like Mirror Room or something.
Mirror Box.
Mirror Box. Yeah.
There's Mirror Box and it's a 5-mana one for Mirror Gallery.
Yeah.
But like, eh.
Yeah.
You also could make non-creature clones of Sid for the effect if you need more of them. There's a few ways of doing that, but not very many.
I kind of like just, so I'm looking at this. Sai, pretty good card. Urza, pretty good card.
Yeah.
Like,
you do get to just play generically good cards.
Like, it turns out a lot of generically good blue-white artifact cards just happen to be Artificers. So...
Okay, so just so you all are aware, for some reason the Sid deck only has 12 of it on EDH Rec at the moment, so like, we're in new territory, not a whole lot of research to go off of here.
I don't think it actually has 12. I think it's got way more than that, but EDH Rec is actually splitting up based on printings, because they have different numbers.
Oh, really?
Yep. I bet you that is what's happening.
I hope not.
I cannot see a world where this doesn't have at least more than 12. So,
well, don't love that, but either way, Dex just gets to play good cards, honestly. And the one key thing, just looking through this, and I'm very happy to see at least, is Throwing Stone is only in 3 of the 12 decks here, so that is telling me that not a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion of you actually don't want to go deep on having multiple copies of Sid. As such, I think Sid's... honestly, I think it's a 4.
I was going to say, it's either a 4 or a 5. So...
I think it punches all right, and it just gets to play decent cards. It itself is not super powerful, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just your play blue-white artifacts, and blue-white artifacts are innately just a good strategy, so...
Yeah. So here's my thoughts on the rating. Let me know if you disagree. 4 for normal, 4 for optimized, 10 for the support. The flexibility is actually pretty decent at about a 4. Maybe a 3. Yeah, probably still a 4. And the power itself is a 3 because the generic, like, just good stuff of the deck is pulling the numbers up a little bit.
Yeah, I would happen to agree with all that.
Okay. Then we are good there. Oh boy, I can read off the fun one that I want to talk about.
All right, here you go, Jason. I'll let you.
Yeah,
I'll let you.
The Emperor of Palamecia. Let's go. All right, so this is an Izzet for a 2/2 legendary creature, human noble wizard with tap to add either a red or a blue. Spend this mana only to cast non-creature spells. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a 1/1 counter onto the Emperor of Palamecia. Then, if the Emperor of Palamecia has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it, transform it. The backside is the Master of Hell, which is a legendary creature, demon noble wizard with Starfall. Whenever Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. Do keep in mind, despite the fact that this is a 3/3, you should have 3 counters on this thing, so really you're attacking with a 6/6.
This card's awesome. Like,
yeah.
Unironically, this uncommon is awesome.
I love this card. I think it's a super cool design. You get to play your generic value-y instance and sorcery stuff on the front, where you're just wheeling and dealing, getting cards into your graveyard to set up, and then you flip over the Emperor of Palamecia, and you dome everyone for 10. Then you have counter magic and go, cool, do it again.
Do it again. Oh wait. Oh wait, the thing got removed? Anyways, it's super easy now because I'm set up to just redo it. It's ready to go next turn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just think this is super fun, and is it busted? No. I think it's above average.
I do think it's like a 6. 6
yeah, it's probably Yeah, it's probably about that level. You do have to play quite a few 4-drops that are not very good, and getting 1/1 counters onto your commander outside of casting 4-drops is going to be a little difficult. So there is some setup, and if you get stopped, then it'll take time to set up again. That said, traumatize yourself and mill half of your deck because it's good value. This is hilarious in so many ways, and genuinely, like, one of the things you'll hear me say pretty frequently is, interesting does not mean good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is just a actually quite good 2-mana commander.
Yeah.
This thing's 2 mana.
It's hard to beat a 2-mana 2/2 that's also a mana dork that gets bigger. Like, I can't argue with this just being a flat out good card.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so rating time. I don't know if the optimizer gets better. There's maybe a build that's more stormy that we could think of, but for the time being, I think it's fair to put it as a 6/6, so
yep.
6 for normal, 6 optimized. Support. Boy, you're telling me to play Spellslinger, and is it? 10 out of 10.
No way.
Flexibility. 2.
Yep.
And then the power, 6. I think that's all I need to do. The card itself is actually just quite good. Even on its own.
Unfortunately, our next one, Jason, I've got bad news. It's just not good. This card's actively bad. We got Cloud of Darkness here from FF3. 2 black, green for a 3/3 legendary creature avatar flying. Particle Beam. When Cloud of Darkness enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -X/-X until end of turn, or X's the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So I would like to pay 3 mana for this effect, and I'm paying 5. It's only to 1 creature if I'm paying 5, and my upside is I get a 3/3 flyer.
So, this is the hilarious thing. This card does exist as an uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
In a different set. For 4 mana, Chupacabra Echo.
Yep.
Does the same thing. Or Ravenous Echo something along those lines. It was 4 mana for a 3/2. And it was only fine in its limited format, which is super weird, because normally that would be insane in limited.
Yep.
But,
oh, yeah.
Lost Caverns was super aggressive.
Like Buck just said, it kicked their ass in the draft. Absolutely. This card is very okay in limited, especially since the limited format is very grindy and slow.
Yep. Which, that is where a card like this will shine.
Yep.
But for Commander itself, alright, so we're playing a 5-mana self-mill Commander where we get an ETB and we kill something. One.
Yep.
It's not an engine. If it was at least an engine, it would give me something good here, but nope.
Give me 1 second, Jason. I have to add a row below. I've completely forgot about this.
Oh, the zeros?
Get the, God, why?
God, why?
Oh.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right.
Luckily, our next fellow here is not nearly as bad. We have Xande, Dark Mage, 2 blue-black for a 3/3 legendary creature human wizard with a Menache. Xande gets +1/+1 for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard.
Okay.
So, Jason,
so you remember
how
just a
easy
moment
is it
ago,
to fill your graveyard?
Pretty easy. You remember just a moment ago when I said, hey, traumatize yourself for value? Like, you could literally just mill half your deck on a single sorcery and set this thing up to be massive. Blue-black has removal. You can get to doing just one-shot damage. Not too terribly difficult here.
It's also not hard to give this thing evasion very easily. So...
Yeah, I think it's like, okay. It's fine. I think you're just kind of like putting yourself in a little bit of a tough situation to make that happen. Is it a 4?
I think it is. Man, it's gonna be hard to not just like traumatize yourself or heck even surveil enough to get. Is this non-creature, non-land? That's so easy. Artifacts.
I want to check because this is. I'm just curious if anybody has put this into the deck. All 41 of them listed here. I believe Rite of Consumption is the Black Fling.
I don't think so.
Let me Google it to be 100% sure.
I think people got the message though that we're just playing blue-black instant sorceries.
Yeah, so Rite of Consumption, 2 mana, 1 and a black for a sorcery. Additional cost to cast this, sacrifice a creature. Rite of Consumption deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to a player or planeswalker, and then you gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So, you do have the option to, in a very difficult way, not, in a difficult way, you can not have to rely on combat damage. The reliance on combat damage here is the really awkward thing for this, though. Because unblockable is not terribly difficult to do. You know, give this thing Flying Menace, you're basically unblockable in most games. But you're going to rely on a lot of, like, combat tricks and such to make that happen in your blue-black deck. And that's...
So arguably better Fling with life gain. True.
Kind of. Fling can at least hit a creature.
Yeah.
So, and there's more Flings. So you can actually, like, reasonably build around Fling as an archetype in Commander, because there's, like, 4 of them. But yeah, is this... It's a 3 or a 4.
It's one of the two.
I think it's too iffy. I think things go wrong too easily. You just kill the commander and then you're in for sad times where you're doing actual nothing. Yes, Aqueous Form does count for this, although notably that one does not go to your graveyard right away, so that doesn't increase Saint's power. So you're actually more interested in stuff like Artful Dodge, which is 1 blue to just give a creature unblockable until end of turn.
Yep.
Or slip out the back. Or not slip out the back, slip through space.
Slip through space.
Yeah. I could maybe be convinced that this is a 4, but I think it is still ultimately a 3. As for the ratings, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is like 3 normal, 3 optimized, 10 for support, 1 for flexibility, 3 for... actually 2 for flexibility, and 3 for the power itself. Quick. Easy.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. Next one.
Rosa!
4.
We're on 4.
Hooray! Alright.
That should tell you how little representation 1 through 3 have.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 commanders between the two.
To be fair,
between 3 games.
That should also tell you how little story 1 through 3 have.
Oof. Wow.
Right,
Thanks there.
we got Rosa, Resolute, White Mage. 3 white for a 2/3 legendary creature, human noble cleric. Reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. We're back to mono white life gain, Jason.
Yep, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like the same things that we had in Minwu, but like, you know.
Worse.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have the upside.
Yeah, I mean, it immediately... Okay, so... A couple of relevant things, I guess, if we're going to be fair. So, just like Minwu, it's got the overlap between life gain and 1/1 counters. So, Rosa can be an engine in quotations, because you can play all those cards that say whatever a 1/1 counter is put on to it, you draw a card. And again, there's like 3 of those in mono white at this point, I believe.
Yep.
Or is it just 2 of them in mono white?
It's either 2 or
But-
3, one of the 2.
Yeah, it's somewhere in that area. Gives lifelink. That's cool. I assume people are building it mostly around the lifelink side of things. Oh no, actually, people are building it more on the 1/1 counter side of things. That is interesting.
Neat.
Okay. I honestly think that's probably better than building it on the life gain side of things.
Oh, by quite a bit, actually.
Huh. Okay, that's cool. Right then. This is probably 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's. This is kind of an unfortunate thing. If you removed the whole give her lifelink and literally just left her as is, but made her made her 3 mana and removed the lifelink, I think she'd be so much better.
Mhm.
She just gets online much sooner. But yeah,
Oh.
like you're able to curve card draw into.
But we can't have our
Into this.
beginner products have really good cards in them, Jason.
Oh, she's in the intro deck, isn't she?
Yep. It's the only place you can get her. She's not in the main set.
Thanks, I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dang it. All right, well, 4/4, 10 for the support. Flexibility is actually pretty decent. Like, you
Yeah.
get to choose between the lifelink and 1/1 counter stuff. Still kind of similar overlap, but probably about a 4 as well.
Mhm.
And she herself is power level 4.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Maybe the cards on the deck are making her a little bit better, but she is the only thing I can think of in mono white that guarantees gives a counter every turn.
Yeah, because everything else you have to outlast it or whatever.
Yeah. She can target herself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's important.
She becomes a 3/4.
That might actually help with some like board wipes and related things. So that's a nice little benefit to think about. Flexibility there.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, 4s.
4s.
All right. Next one. Kain, you traitorous bastard.
He
Kain,
has such
traitorous
good art.
bastard.
He has such good
It
art.
does.
Why?
It's so good.
Why?
All right. 2 and a black for a 2/4 legendary creature, human knight. During your turn, Kain has flying. Whenever Kain deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kain. If they do, you draw that many cards and create that many trap treasure tokens, then lose that much life. Okay. 0.
Yep.
Let's just get this out of the way now.
0.
0. Because you can politic it as much as you want. Nobody is required to give you anything, and you give your opponent's card draw. It's slow, it's not that good. It's dependent on things going right, and your opponents may just say, I don't like this thing flying around the battlefield making my life difficult, so I'm just going to kill it. And, yeah, it's terrible.
Yep. It's real bad.
Yeah. Also, they can hit you, right?
They
You're like, oh yeah,
can
I'll just
hit you.
Voltron up my commander and go, okay, cool. Well, you've been hit twice by your commander, and we politicked, so you didn't kill anyone.
Also, by the way, you kind of lose life. It's equal to the amount of damage dealt. So it's like, well, why do I want to Voltron this if I'm going to lose that much life as much as my opponent is? Ugh.
It's so disappointing,
So
but like
bad.
it's funny. It is funny at least.
So bad.
Beyond that, we were playing, Mono Black Voltron. There is one benefit of like, you can do. This doesn't even work well because the go-to card for any Mono Black Voltron deck is Hatred.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, I'm gonna pay X life into this thing and make sure I do enough damage to kill one opponent. And it's like, cool, you paid X life and then you lost X life because you hit somebody.
Yep.
And then died.
Yep.
Good job, Chief. Gotta give him lifelink for him to do anything. And this sucks. The support is there. Like, it's technically like an 8. The flexibility is not very good. It's like a 2. You don't have many options, and it's an active 0. It just... Yeah. It's...
By far, and it's not close, Wolfsbane.
Oh yeah, because Alexios and Slicer are actually good. They can't attack you.
Like,
at least not right away. And Karn, I don't remember how bad Karn is. Honestly,
Karn is very bad. I think Karn is still a 1 rather than a 0. So that should tell you everything.
Yeah, I remember this thing now.
It's like there's also the
It's so bad.
possibility here where you never get your commander back till it's too late.
Yeah. Karn at least doesn't actively kill you, he's just actively bad.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah, Kain's probably the worst of them.
Yep.
Poor Kain. Alright. Golbez time?
Golbez time.
Alright. Golbez, Crystal Collector. A Demir for a 1/4 legendary creature human wizard. Whenever an artifact you control enters Surveil 1, and at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more artifacts, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. If you control 8 or more artifacts, each opponent loses life equal to that card's power.
Yep.
This is so many hoops.
Mm-hmm.
I give a lot of credit to 2-mana commanders. This is so many hoops.
Yep. A lot of hoops.
A lot of hoops. So, like, you make an artifact, you get to do a thing. Okay, cool. So we're just looking for as many treasure and clue producers as we can, basically.
Mm-hmm. But then we need one very particular card that needs to go from our hand to our graveyard. And that name is Draco.
Oh, sure.
Oh, we're actually doing something.
Oh, no. Wait, Draco's mana value, not power, right? Because, like, we want, like, Death Shadow in our graveyard to just dome each opponent for 13. But, like, well, yeah, because Death Shadow's ability only works while it's in play, so... Yeah. I didn't even realize that 40% of decks were playing Death Shadow for this one, so...
Oh,
good to see.
Star. There you go. Brood Star is the card we want.
Oh,
Power and toughness
so
are equal to the number of artifacts.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Darksteel Juggernaut also works, which is fine. It's a lot of work.
It's so much setup. And the payoff is not great.
No, there are enough cheap, like, peak creatures that are easy enough to get into your graveyard in blue-black, so I guess it is... I should give it a little more credit than I've been giving it. Plus you have Karn Legacy Reforged as another way of doing this.
Nope, that is not...
There's not too many things that... there's not too many things that it's probably better than I gave it credit for. Okay, so how good is it then? Maybe in the 4 category?
Maybe a 4. Maybe. It's being saved by the fact that it is 2 mana.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards. Like, you get to rebuy your stuff, which is fine. Is there stuff we want dying in artifact creatures in particular?
Phyrexian Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, that's the easy one. No, I'm thinking, like, not necessarily for Scrap Trawler per se, but, like, you know, because the other thing I don't like about Golbez is that it returns it to hand, not to play, so you still have to cast your cards. Trying to think if there's anything that has, like, cycling on it that's particularly chunky that we can keep getting back. Oh, Troll of Khazad-dûn is a good one. But it's really nice if it's an artifact with channeling, recycling, and high power, which is... Now you're getting to it like a niche. Like, that's hard to find.
You're asking for too much there, friend.
Yeah, nothing that perfectly overlaps. Alright. It's probably a 4. I don't like it, but it's probably a 4.
It's not good. But...
It's not bad.
It is not bad. And I hate that we have to say that.
Okay, so is it a 10 out of 10 on the artifact support, or is it a 9? Because of the whole, like...
It's a 9 because you need very specific artifacts.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Flexibility is not terribly high, not terribly low. More low. It's probably 3 or 2 or 3.
It's a 3.
3 on flexibility. Okay. It itself and its optimized rating, I assume, are about the same at an they're each 4s, and the power level of the card itself is probably a 4. I don't think the support is actually what's drawing it up. I think it's kind of even.
Yep.
Alright then. Cool. Golbez, done.
Anyways, neat card. I'm just happy she got a card. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they were trying real hard to not give her one. Wait, what was it? The second to last day of spoilers before Rydia was shown?
Yep.
She's like the second to last legendary creature that they showed.
Yep.
But Rydia, Summoner of Mist. So this is Gruul for a 1/2 legendary creature, human shaman. Landfall. Whenever a land enters under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card, and then you can tap her, or pay X, tap her, return target saga with mana value of X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. Activate this ability only as a sorcery. Okay. The finality counter thing is really going to matter because a lot of people were quick to realize how this interacts with Urza Saga.
Yep.
As, you can just tap return Urza Saga from your graveyard to play, but that finality counter is the thing that's really getting in your way. So, I don't know how deep to go down the angle of how do I abuse Urza Saga versus how much do I just want to play Landfall plus Summon.
I think I just want to play Landfall plus Summon.
Cool. Okay. Then Landfall plus Summon is average-ish. It's still telling you to play a Landfall deck, although the summons themselves are not necessarily the best. There's a lot of very meh summons.
Yeah. A lot of really bad summons specifically in this color combination too.
Fair. And that I clicked on the EDH rec at this point. Yeah, most people are taking this the summon routes. Like, almost 50% of the decks are just to play every saga that you have available to you.
Yes, they should.
And there's some, different degrees of what level of saga you want to work with. Like, some of them are 80% of the decks are playing Summon Titan, which is fair because, Mills 5 returns all your lands in the graveyard to play to re-enable Rydia stuff. Trying to think, do we have a whole lot of stuff that cares about rummaging specifically in this color combination?
Well, we got some mono red stuff that does. But
you can get back lands pretty easy to help do this. Fetch lands are now all rummage 2s.
That's pretty good.
It is. Honestly, just the landfall ability itself, even without the summons, is pretty good. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. So then the question becomes...
There's some sagas that we could abuse that aren't summons.
There are. Yeah. 3 colors should be the minimum for sagas. I don't think that's necessary. Like...
Well, we'll get to one in about 2 streams where we can disprove that.
Yeah. To be fair, this stream we will cover 5 color sagas.
Yeah, we also will cover 5 color sagas this stream.
So my thing here is this is one of those situations where it's like, oh yeah, if the card just had its top ability, it's honestly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bottom ability is like the bait that makes my deck worse.
Yeah.
To the point, I think this one might actually be one we want to do a split rating on.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think that it's going to be too different, because you still want to play some number of sagas with this deck, but... okay, so, Rydia with going deep on sagas is like a 4, maybe?
4 or 5, one of the two. Because you still have to play enough landfall to enable Rydia to where it's still solid.
Oh, I just forgot. She literally just has landfall, dredge, life from the loam.
Yep.
Discard it and then dredge it.
Yep.
Interesting. there's surely nothing we can do to abuse that.
Totally can't abuse that at all. Even
Yeah, see, okay, I think there's a very meaningful difference between the builds that go deep on any form of Saga stuff versus the ones that are literally just saying, I am just playing a 2-mana commander that is a landfall deck with this rummaging ability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you just go full force in that first ability, you have an above average deck, like a 6. But if you go on the summons side of things, which is where people will want to take this, you have a 4. So I think that's the ratings, 4 and 6.
Sure, I can see it.
All right, I will put that in there. 4, 6. I'm gonna give the support 9 because Gruul Enchantress is not that good. Actually, more specifically, Gruul Sagas is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe an 8. But the landfall stuff bumps it back up to a 9. So like, how good is she? She herself is probably a 6. Like, that ability is just good. And then the flexibility is like a 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
At a
In the
3.
meantime. So, I am going to start typing a comment on this because I have to explain the split rating.
Anyways, I'm going to start talking about our goodest boy, our goodest
the man, the
lad
myth, the legend.
here, Cecil, Dark Knight, 1 mana for a 2/3 with Death Touch. Legendary creature, Human Knight. Darkness. Whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it. He transforms into Cecil Redeemed Paladin. 4/4 legendary creature, Human Knight with lifelink and protect. Whenever Cecil attacks, other attacking creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So if you know anything about 1 mana creatures at all, you would know that Cecil is cracked out of his mind. Not in Commander. It's a little rough in Commander, let's put it that way.
I mean, my reward is a 4/4 with lifelink that gets to...
Everything else gets indestructible.
Yeah, other attacking creatures gain indestructible. So I can't even do, like, super tricky stuff with... I can't even do the super tricky stuff with making my board wipes truly one-sided because I have to sacrifice my commander in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And Cecil has to be dealing damage.
Yep.
We're playing like Orzhov Voltron here.
Yeah, we're not even playing good Orzhov Voltron. We'll get to one of those later.
Yeah. I am curious just to see. Well, actually, a lot of these decks are just like on Orzhov suicide here. Like, they're just like, how quickly can I reduce my life total?
I'm here for this.
I'm not even seeing a whole lot. Are they doing the stuff to like change life totals much? Because there's only like 4 cards, 3 or 4 cards that let you do that.
I don't think they are. I think we're just on Orzhov suicide here.
Yeah, 16% on Axis of Mortality. Profane Transfusion is in 14% of them. Mal playing Infernal Contract just so you have your life total right away. That's funny. I guess I can transform this into a 1-mana 4/4 pretty quickly, but then it's like, again, like, what am I doing from here? I don't know. I feel like this is one of those situations where people are really baiting themselves into doing something that will actively just kill them. We're just starting to look into that 0 tier, which is not where we want to be with this guy, because I don't think it's a 0.
I think that's like a 2. Because it really is the race to the bottom. You are going to stab yourself a lot.
Yeah, it's...
And your payoff is not great.
I mean, honestly, 2... There is at a time, like, looking at what the decks are, 2 almost feels generous, but honestly, I'm okay with being generous with Cecil here.
Yeah.
Like, they're the cards on the deck are better than the commander, though.
But now we want to talk about this card in Constructed. That he has no home. But God bless, you cannot look at this card and tell me at face value it's not insane. It'll be good somewhere. I know it. A copium. Copium mask.
Alright. Tellah
time?
Alright. Tellah, Great Sage. 3 in an is it? For a 3/3 legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a colorless 1/1 colorless human creature token. If 4 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, draw 4 cards, or not 4, draw 2 cards. If 8 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, sacrifice Tellah and it deals that much damage to each. And that much damage to each opponent. Right, the damage equal to the spell that you cast.
Yep.
Okay. So I really like this card.
We're cooking here. We're cooking a little bit.
He's a bit wonky.
It's a little wonky, but like we got the oil, we got the gas, we definitely got some sparks. I don't know that we actually have any ingredients to cook with.
Yeah, it's so we're going back to the things about the back to the Emperor of Palamecia, right? The casting 4 mana spells is actually not too terribly difficult. I don't think it's too awful. Tellah wants you to keep doing it over and over and over and over again, whereas Emperor of Palamecia just needs you to do it 3 times. So that's kind of the little bit of difference here. Tellah's on the type that wants you to be like, well, again, it's counting the amount of mana that was spent to cast the spell, so you can't even cost reduce it to save yourself some trouble. So you want all those ones that refund you treasures and things like that. And, X spells are good.
X spells are good.
Actually, the reiterate mana geyser stuff is funny.
Anything with flashback's good, because most of it's 4 mana to do it.
Yeah. I do legitimately... Well, if you can do it at instant speed. A lot of the X burn spells are not instant speed, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so...
You have exactly one, and that's Comet Storm, I believe.
I believe that is true. Okay, because one of the things I'm thinking about here is I thought about the Mana Geyser combo stuff that you can do. And, well... Yeah, Mana Geyser Reiterate should draw your deck. Because the Reiterate with buyback is a 6 mana value spell.
Yep.
So, that minimum makes you a bunch of 1/1s and infinite mana, so that's always cool. And there's other ways to turn that into lethal. And then if you can draw into the Comet Storm, that kills. So,
yeah.
Cool. We found the line.
We found the line. That's a pretty clunky line and very easy to interrupt, but it's certainly a line of all time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Knowing Tellah from the game, on point. Good job, guys.
Watch that nuke. The other hilarious thing here about the Tellah is that any infinite mana combo into an X spell is just a win, just because you can infinite the X and then Tellah sacrifices and just goes. So, okay. This is funny.
This is a very funny card. It is quite a bit better than you would initially think, but
anything just makes it 1/1, so that's easy.
Then your Ashnod's Altar. No. It says every spell you cast is now 2 extra mana.
2 mana. Yeah, refunds you 2 mana. Huh. Oh yeah, Mana Echoes, because these are all hero. Definitely, I definitely think average. I'm wondering if there's a higher rating, but I think at that point you're getting into the optimized side of things. Hey, Gutty!
True Gutty, you should have been here like an hour ago. Come on. You missed a whole lot of bad, is what you missed. Including, but not limited to, Kain being down here at a 0.
Yeah, we are only on to Final Fantasy IV at the moment, so, like, you missed the first 3 games, but that's most people who play the Final Fantasy franchise. Anyway.
Anyways.
So, yeah.
Tellah cool.
Yeah, I think Tellah gets to be a 5. I think this is another split rating. Because I think this actually has potential to be better than Emperor of Palamecia when played correctly.
Absolutely, Gutty. You missed nothing.
Yeah, I think this is maybe a 5-7 rating.
Oh, yeah.
5 for the average, 7 for once you go deep on combo stuff. The flexibility is not too much different from Emperor of Palamecia, honestly. Yeah, it's about the same. Those two. And Tellah itself... Tellah is enabling these weird combo shenanigans. It's probably a 6... I'm not sure how good to put Tellah's individual power, though, because a 5-mana... This is a 5-mana 3/3 that is kind of doing something that, you know, if you're not doing the 4-cost spells consistently, this is something that 2-mana cards do.
Yep.
So, a little weird, but... Yeah, I think it's okay. And it does just kind of, like, perfectly mirror the Emperor of Palamecia's rating. Alright. Shall we go on to our next one?
Yeah, we got Gutty's next commander, Giott, King of the Dwarves. Boros for a 1/1 with double strike. Legendary creature, Dwarf Noble. Whenever a Giott or another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way. That name is way too close to Giott. So, anyway.
Yep.
Alright, it's okay, it's not your fault, buddy. You predated that word by almost 40 years.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just kind of fine.
It's okay.
It's neat.
So we
Dwarf enters.
We just ignore the dwarf enters. And we say, whenever an equipment control enters, we rummage. Then
now,
we have a 2-mana 1/1 with double strike.
Now, while I do agree with you, you can probably ignore that for the most part. I can assure you, the people online have not.
No, I know they haven't. I'm just trying to defend this card, because I think it's going to be better than what we have to give it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the card is, like, it's honestly just kind of fine. It's below average, not that big of a deal. It is a very cheap commander with an equip cost to it. Or a very cheap commander with double strike, which does give you some interesting things to work with. However, Rayav Master Smith is 2 mana for a 2/2 legendary creature, Dwarf Artificer. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Though under very similar circumstances, we already have had a 2 mana 2/2 or a 2 mana dwarf commander with double strike.
Yep. What did we give that one? Because we probably give it the same exact rating.
And that's kind of where I'm at. It's probably about the same rating. So, Rayav, we gave a 3.
All right, there you go.
Yep.
I'm giving it the same rating.
I think we gave it a 3 for normal, 3 for optimized, 10 for the support, 4 for the flexibility, 3 for the power. I think that rating still holds true. And on top of that, I think Giott gets the same thing here.
God damn it, Jason, you did it.
I know, that was intentional. Giott gets to have probably a 5 in the flexibility because of the dwarves.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a thing, I guess.
Yeah. And yeah, we're done with that one. All right.
All right, we're on to FF5 now.
One of the commanders I wanted to talk the most about today.
We won't be here for long.
Only 3. All right. Gilgamesh, Master at Arms. 4 red for a 6/6 legendary creature human samurai. Whenever Gilgamesh enters or attacks, you may look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of equipment cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. And whenever you put one or more equipment onto the battlefield this way, you may attach one of them to a samurai you control. Don't care, that's a Titan. This is the new red Titan, baby.
Yep.
And hey, it cheats on equipment costs and cheats them into play. You just have to ramp a bunch and give them haste. Wow, I wonder what equipment are pretty good at giving haste for cheap mana values.
No, I couldn't know. Couldn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Genji Glove good. Unironically, Genji Glove just quite good here.
Genji Glove's just insane. Just period.
Yeah. I actually like this. This is probably my second favorite, or my favorite. Okay. It's my favorite of the 4 mono red equipment commanders that we got out of this set.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the second best of them, but it's a real close first. It's real close to first.
It's very, very close. You run this over Godo, so your friends will keep playing with you.
That's
you
fair.
know what? That is fair.
If you're going to be like, oh, this is so much better than Godo and CDH, I was about to slap you upside the head, but no, you're right.
No, you're right.
All right.
But wait,
So,
I could still play him and play Godo. Jeez,
Yeah.
Why didn't we think about that?
You know the other fun part about this?
Yep.
That little bit of flavor text on Godo about untapping all samurai you control comes up here.
It comes up very, very relevant here.
Yeah. Some of the host is also kind of funny in this deck. I don't know if I would actually play it, but yeah, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is just mono red equipment, but I get to play a whole bunch of mana, and I don't have to worry about card advantage or anything. I can just smooth brain my way into just beating up somebody with Gilgamesh. I like that.
5.
5? Cool. Because remember, just because I like it doesn't mean it's good. Did I actually somehow forget Gilgamesh on my list here?
You might have.
I don't know how that happens.
You get 3 more ETB triggers with Home of the Host.
Oh, no, I just realized that my color setup for Boros and Mono Red is exactly the same, and I was confused. I need to fix that.
All these new equipment just come on body? Come with bodies, you mean, sir? I misspoke. My brain is rotted. Send help.
Yep.
All right.
There is no help here. Anyway, sorry. So 5/5. Still probably 9 on the sport. Guess got close though.
Mm-hmm.
To that 10. 5 there, flexibility. A gentleman's 1.
Gentleman's 1.
You know exactly what you're doing with this.
Hey, Jason, do we want to give the next one a 0 and call it good?
This is Bartz and Boko.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 1.
Okay.
But I'll at least read it off. So, Bartz and Boko. 3 generic, green for a 4/3 legendary creature, human bird, with affinity for birds. Hell yeah. And then whenever it enters, each other bird you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. As Matt is signaling here, there are 3 good birds you can play in mono green.
Bird's Paradise, Traveling Chocobo, Saz's Chocobo. Those are your 3. That's it.
Yep. Just for reference, so people are aware, when 73% of your decks are playing Anvil Rot Raptor, which is a 4-mana, 2/1 flying first strike bird artifact creature, you are really scraping the bottom of the barrel for birds.
You Gutty, we'll get to bird typal next stream. Don't worry about it. We'll get there, and we got a lot to say about it because it is cooking. Okay.
Yes, when we add more colors, birds become better. Turns out.
Turns out.
But yeah, unfortunately, this is a 1 because the color support is just dead. Like, it's just not there. And also, Bartz and Boko are, like, a good support piece, but they are not very powerful.
No, Wolfsbane, I want this to be mono green for, like, constructed play. That's why it's mono green.
I mean, I'll take it Selesnya even in literally same card, but Selesnya for constructed, I'd take it.
Eh.
Probably not good either way, but you know. Anyway,
whoa,
1/1
whoa.
color support, 7
7.
flexibility. And you get to play creature stuff, so like 2.
Hey, don't diss on my boy Bartz and Boko and constructed. Look, the birds have been cooking. That's all I gotta say. They've been cooking.
All right, honestly, if that is the case, I look forward to seeing more of it.
Like,
okay, Exdeath.
Exdeath. This card's bad. 1 green-black for a 3/3 legendary creature, Spirit Warlock. When Exdeath enters, you gain 3 life at the beginning of your end step. If there are 6 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, transform Exdeath to Neo Exdeath. Dimensions End. Star 3 legendary creature Spirit Avatar with Trample. Neo Exdeath's power is equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard.
Okay, so we already did this once this stream, but I'm gonna immediately go compare this to another commander.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you remember the Abomination of Llanowar?
Yep.
It's a 3 mana star, Vigilance, Menace with power and toughness each equal to the number of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And how we gave that a 3?
Yeah.
1s. This is so understated as a commander. It is insane. Why do you only have 3? You're not even a star. You're a star 3. I know it has to at least be 6 power before it can even transform, but that's not a sign off on it being good.
Yeah. 3 mana 6/3s are unplayable, as it turns out, most of the time. And that's all he is. He's just a 3 mana 6/3 with trample that requires quite a bit of setup to get to there.
Yeah. I'd rather just play old Stick Fingers. Yes, Stick Fingers is a significantly better version of what you could be doing here. Mm-hmm. There is just no good reason to play Exdeath aside from you like the character. And if you like it as a character, by all means play it, but just understand you're going in with a handicap. I will at least give it the credit of it is high power, which lets you, or it can be high power, which lets you do the funny stuff that you get to do with like Yargle and Multani, but then you can just do Yargle and Multani and not worry about this.
Anyways, on to the best game in the series. Let's go. Choo-choo. We got Cyan here. Vengeful Samurai. 6 mana white for a 3/3 legendary creature, Human Samurai. The spell costs 1 less for each creature card in your graveyard. Double strike. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Cyan.
Yep.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly hard to set up. Will, on average, be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 mana.
Yeah. Okay. I can't say that this will be, like, it's not terrible for... I think 4 mana is probably a fair spot to put it, but it also... the spot to getting to here is really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mono White does not self-mill.
Yep.
Mono White sacrifices its creatures for an effect, typically to protect something else.
Yep. That's what it
So
does.
we're relying a lot on artifact creatures then. Or we are just relying on, throwing a creature into our graveyard to have it do nothing aside from reduce the cost of our commander down.
Mm-hmm.
Does not feel great.
Is it a 1 or a 2? It's mainly what we're getting at here.
That is a hard choice. Have to leave your graveyard as well to give him that.
Yep.
We're making things leave the graveyard. We got Abiding Grace, Smile at Death, Savine's Reclamation,
Revel Arc, Karmic Guide.
Sun Titan.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not a ton of things leaving my graveyard.
And it's not stuff I necessarily want to be milling over either.
Yeah, and it's also stuff that, like, when it leaves my graveyard, it does reduce the cost of Cyan should things go wrong.
Yep.
This feels like so many hoops. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt too, but I feel like I may be wrong.
Yeah. It's real rough. Benefit of the doubt too, for me.
Yeah. Full rating here is 2 normal, 2 optimized, 7 on the support, 1 on the flexibility, 2 on the power.
Foos, it might be a 99 card. I mean, if you want to play it, sure. It's Commander.
Yeah.
But, like, man, it's even rough in the 99. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I gotta eat with the grinding station and Phyrexian altar stuff. Yeah. Or just play Osgear. Yes, you should absolutely just play Osgear for something kind of like this, but I view them as very different decks.
All right, we got General Leo Cristophe. 4 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, human soldier. Whenever General Leo Cristophe enters, return up to 1 target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then put a 1/1 counter on himself for each creature you control. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is gonna be a big theme of a lot of these ones.
A lot of the mono white precon things, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So reanimates a creature, cool. 1/1 counter on him for each creature you control. This kind of reminds me of something else that we've worked with before, but in a very different way, because it's a very different effect. But like, what was it? King Aramir is the one that ETBs, domes your opponent for X, which is the number of creatures you control, and makes yourself the monarch.
Yep.
And then makes itself bigger for each creature you control.
Yep.
That guy's cool. And it's in Boros, which helps a lot. But it just reanimates one thing. There's probably some weird combo thing you can do when you get into multicolors. But yeah, for this itself, it does definitely feel in the twos category. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does cost too much, Gutty. I will agree. But even then, this effect is just not powerful enough.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's anything that really makes like a big difference on him being big. Yeah. Like, so like the really cute thing to do here is what's it called? Evangel of Heliod, which is the ETB makes a number of 1/1s equal to your devotion to white. So if you have like a decent devotion count of like, let's say 5 or 6 here, then you will end up making 6 1/1s, and he'll reanimate this thing because it's power, right? It is not mana value. It is power.
It is power.
Oh no, it's mana value. Never mind. We can't even do that. Ugh. Just mana value. Yeah, it's still probably a 2. Like, man, that's man.
I could hear your depression setting in real time, so I was starting to move it down.
Still probably a 2. It's just, oh my god, like, even compared to, like, Celestine, which gets to do this multiple times. At least we can do the flicker stuff, but, like, Celestine also is... Again, I must keep rereading this card. Creature with mana value 3 or less, not permanent.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done talking about this.
Anyways,
I'm disappointed.
We have a card from the regular set. We got Edgar, King of Figaro. 4 blue for a 4/5 legendary creature, human artificer noble. When Edgar enters, draw a card for each artifact you control. Then he has a 2-headed coin. the first time you would flip one or more coins each turn, those coins come up heads and you win those flips. So Jason, I've actually had conversations about this and I needed a judge. So I'm going to call you out here now. Just because we're going to have to immediately reevaluate like 3 or 4 commanders just because of Edgar here.
Sure.
The Zunder split no Kun?
Oh, Zunder split no Kun?
Are these individual triggers or do they all automatically win?
So, it is a single trigger, however, you do not automatically win. You only automatically win the first one.
Okay.
As you are repeating this process. So, the first time you did it was the first flip. The repeats afterwards are no longer the first time.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure on that.
Yes. I am like 90% sure on that. I'm very confident in that answer. However, I always look for release notes and we'll check to see what is on Gatherer later when for Edgar. But I'm going to continue to evaluate it based on that, as the only card that I really have to care about that for this deck in particular is Zunder Split.
Yep.
Because there's no other like blue keep flipping. Nope. What is your opinion on Mesmeric Orb? Love that card. It is definitely a card you would want to play in your General Leo deck. I've put it into like every I've played Celestine on the channel before, and it is the card for that deck. But yeah. For Edgar here, yeah, there's like quite literally, this is flavor text for him being the commander. Good thing I don't give a shit about that ability, because that first ability is fucking cracked.
Yep, that first ability is insane. Like,
each artifact?
Each.
So
doesn't
like
matter if
a minimum of 6.
Yeah, doesn't matter if he costs 6 mana. Like, because we're just going to go Artifact Gland, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Mind Stone.
Yeah, like, okay. Since we're on artifact bullshit, right? Let's talk about the very real possibility of someone playing an artifact deck with this, where you have 2 to 3 cost reducers in play. Because you're playing artifacts, you're playing every cost reducer you can get your hand on. You manage to stick the Displacer Kitten. And you accidentally mill yourself out.
You know what? Sounds like a way to go. Sounds like a way to go, Jason.
Unironically, this commander is just very good.
Yes.
Like, I was so hilarious when everyone was talking about that second ability as it relates to Zunder Split and Okon, and I'm just sitting here going like, bro, it ETBs and draws 12. What do we care about? Like,
oh, we only have one commander where we actually have to worry about this, and it's because it's funny.
Does Yusri just win all of his flips with Edgar? Yes.
Yes.
That is a situation where that is one or more. Yes.
Hey, there's the commander we actually have to worry about Edgar being a real card now.
Yes. One card does not make the commander, though, so I don't know if it changes the rating. Especially one without tutors. Honestly, I lean towards Edgar. I lean towards 7. Like this is just so casually simple. Like, you don't have to build around this super hard. You're so flexible in what you get to do here, and it's just like, it just plays itself.
Yep.
This is one of those rare situations where I'm going to say, like, you literally just outvalue your opponent. What else do you need to care about?
You're probably going to dig into your other absurd pieces.
Mm.
No notes. Just really good.
Yeah. And also, it's like, okay, so I will be at least a little honest on this, right? Or not honest, but I'll pull it back a little bit here, right? Edgar is a mono blue artifacts commander that is not an artifact. He is just card draw. He is not an engine in of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes an engine. But anyway, so artifacts bullshit, right? Like,
so anyways, Displacer Kitten and artifacts are very good, I hear.
Yeah. He's also just super generic in what you get to play with. It's just like, just play artifacts.
Yep.
I don't even need to flicker this guy. He's just solid. The quality of artifacts do pull up the overall value of the commander. So I do think it's like 7 normal, 7 optimized. Honestly, maybe I maybe should have a split rating. I am not sure on that though. 10 for the support, 5 for the flexibility, because again, just play artifacts. You don't even have to think about this in terms of like honestly, I may need to up that flexibility even higher to a 6. Because like again, like this is like the mono blue commander you would play for I want to do this weird quirky artifact deck and I don't know what to play, I'll just play Edgar. Because he's just that good.
So now we're gonna have Edgar instead of Urza. So that way we can now officially bonk people for trying to play Urza in actual casual.
True. Honestly, if you wanted to swap Urza out for playing Edgar and just 1-for-1 replacing that way, yeah, that honestly makes perfect sense for casual. Also, since we just mentioned Urza, Urza's still 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, we've reaffirmed that rating.
Yep. See, even Gutty agrees Urza's still a 10. We're good. Even though we're probably delayed by like 30 to 40 seconds or a minute.
Alright, so on to the next one.
Alright, Jason, I don't want to think about this card, so I'm going to let you take it.
I do! Alright. Go-Go, Master of Mimicry. 2 and a blue for a 2/4 legendary creature wizard. Pay XX and tap. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. This ability can't be copied. This ability can't be copied, and the X can't be 0. Really important that that ability can't be copied.
Yeah, it would just break itself if it did, though. Let's be real here.
Oh, super easily. Even then, like, this is still quite good. You know, this is 2-mana tap copy, target activated or triggered ability you control, which is a card that a lot of people play in Commander anyway with Psionic Resonator. This is a source of card advantage in your command zone that you can do with flicker stuff, you can do with activated abilities, you can do loyalty abilities, etc., etc. I believe there is still combo potential, however, I think the X has to get to 3. And I don't remember the exact pieces that go into it because you have to be... you have to have like 1 or 2 keys in play and turn Go-Go into an artifact or something crazy like that, or, you know, use like Marvin or something. I don't remember what it is.
Can we do it with Manamo?
Yes, Manamo is one of the pieces that you can do to make this work.
Okay.
Again, don't remember exactly though, because I think it's a legendary mana rock you have to untap when you do the Manamo one. But you need an ability to untap it, or no? I don't remember if Chromatic Orrery is legendary. But yeah, it's an excessive amount of mana that you need to make that combo work. Oh, why hello there, Chandler.
Oh, thank you, Chandler.
Oh, congratulations to all the people receiving the memberships here.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
Thank you.
This is silly. I like Go-Go. This is a really hard one to figure out what you actually like do with it though, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like insanely high flexibility. So I think we should work from this in the back, right? Like Go-Go feels good, not broken.
Yep.
So Go-Go itself is probably a 5 or 4.
Go-Go on power is a 5.
Sounds fine with me. The flexibility is really high.
Yep.
Like a 7.
7. Support.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly a lot of activated or triggered abilities, so I would say it's probably about a 10.
Yeah, it's about... The question is, how good are they? You know? But even then, it's still worth going for.
Yeah.
It's just this activated or triggered ability you control. It does not care about what type. So, like, a cycle works.
Yep.
So... So Go-Go sounds like a 5 to me. 5 with the potential to be broken. I don't know if I want to do a split rating right away.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Like I said, I'm not using any brain power on this. That requires me to think too much for this card.
That's fair. I mean, there's plenty to think about today, so...
Yeah, there's enough to think about.
Alright. I like Gogo. He's cool.
Boop. Hey, look, it's our favorite octopus.
It's like
He's here.
this legitimately might be the maybe the number one meme in all of Final Fantasy. It's just
Look,
this
guys.
stupid thing's face.
He's here. Look at him.
Ultros Obnoxious Octopus. 1 and a blue for a 2/1 legendary creature octopus. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it.
Yep.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 8 mana was spent to cast it, put 8/1/1 counters on Ultros.
I love that Gavin and them understood we got to make this a meme. We got to do it.
Yeah. Oh god, it's so stupid. I do love this stupid thing, but also it's so dumb.
It's so not good, but it's a meme and a half at the same time.
Yeah,
But I kind of love it.
So I think we can all agree the basic strategy here is ramp, cast 8-drop, win game, or maybe win game because you now are at a point where you can one-shot people with commander damage. It's not good. It's a little tough. It's probably a 2.
Okay.
It's 2, maybe a 3, but it's probably a 2.
Ramp. Hope that dear Christ my Ultros doesn't get removed.
Mhm.
And then
This is cheap to recast.
yeah.
Resetting's not the hard part. That's at least a good thing.
Oh, this meaning once you cast the 8 mana spell.
Oh yeah. 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 Alright. Next one is Interceptor?
Interceptor. Shadow's Hound, 2 black for a 4/3 legendary creature dog. Menace.
Dog.
Assassins you control have menace. Whenever you attack with 1 or more legendary creatures, you may pay 2 in the black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking.
Eh.
Eh.
It's just
Yeah.
The whole like putting it into your graveyard and having it come out is interesting question.
3 because he's a dog. Ooh, I like Gutty's reasoning here.
But if it's a good boy, good is at 6. So obviously it's a 6.
Mm,
No.
no.
Interceptor is 2/3 somewhere in that territory. It is interesting the whole like, okay, attack with a legendary creature, get this thing back, tapped and attacking, trigger all my things I care about, leaving graveyard in mono black. We've just gotten a lot of support for doing that, so that's actually kind of like relevant.
Okay.
Mm.
My real question is, okay.
Are we just playing assassins? Because the answer is yeah, we're playing a lot of assassins.
No, it's just how good are the assassins? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, some of
They
these
are
aren't bad.
They are distinctly still medium.
Okay.
They
make
are
sure.
they could be a lot worse than they are, but they are just still distinctly medium. We're merging assassins, aristocrats, and leaves graveyard, which is a whole lot of like value engine-y stuff that's not really going to kill people, but it's cute. Just like the dog. So yeah, probably 3, honestly.
You know what? I like Gutty. You had the correct reasoning there. 3 because he's a good boy.
Mhm. Yeah, it honestly is maybe a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I will note that because the issue is the support's a little iffy. But yeah, beyond that, there's not a ton of flexibility. So about a 2 on the flexibility. All right, Shadow. Shadow Mysterious Assassin. 2 and a black for a 3/3 legendary creature human assassin with Death Touch and Throw. Whenever Shadow deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice another non-land permanent. If you do, you draw 2 cards, and each opponent loses life equal to the mana value of the sacrificed permanent.
We're throwing Excalibur, boys. We're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It and Shadow of Mortality, if we can get that in play.
Yep.
yeah, there's some decent stuff that we can sacrifice. Yeah, I think going the like artifacts route is actually probably the way to go with Shadow, just to try to affinity stuff down to super cheap. Maybe you go on the reanimator side of things, Avatar of Woe. That's funny. Yeah, you can do the cheaper stuff and just loop your Gray Merchants. We need to make sure that Shadow can actually hit things because Death Touch is not alone. Like that alone is not enough.
Yep.
So there's quite a few things we're asking for here, but we don't mind sacrificing. Oh, it's sacrifice on non-land permanent, so this works with Necro.
Yep.
That's cool.
Works with Kakusho. Works with Metamorphosis Fanatic. Yeah.
I almost forgot to order your Massacre Girl. Okay, there's some decent synergy stuff in here. Oh,
this is a spicy boy.
it is spicy. You can cast Carrick or Crick and dome yourself for 6 and then dome your opponents for 7. Value.
I'm here for this,
the card
Jason. I don't know about you.
it's still just 2 cards. Okay, well, how here are you for this?
Like a 4?
You think about a 4? Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think it's higher than 4 still, because it's still a lot of things going right. But I like what it's doing. I think it's really cool.
Gutty is going to test Squall on tabletop right now and give us his rating later.
Okay, good, because we need it next stream.
we need it next stream, don't worry.
Okay, then now we are on to Siegfried.
Siegfried.
Definitely not Shadow.
Yeah, totally not.
All right, Siegfried, famed swordsman. 3 and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature, human warrior rogue with menace. When Siegfried enters, mill 3 cards, and then you put X/1/1 counters on Siegfried, where X is twice the number of creatures cards in your graveyard. Okay, there is a clear theme of I must make the biggest creature in this set. I must mill myself for power.
Yes.
Okay, black does have some self-mill, not a ton of self-mill. Yeah, a little more in the blue. Even green is doing a little more consistent on self-mill nowadays. Our reward is a big creature, which, hey, we can Rite of Consumption that. That's not what we really want to do. We want to just bonk people with Siegfried.
Big bonks.
So we would need 19 creatures in our graveyard to turn this into a one-shotting machine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say now, if you have ever won with Mortal Kombat, I think you know how difficult that is. So, it's, like, fine. It's probably 3. Like, I mean, Xande is like the same thing, but easier.
Yep.
At least you're playing with all creatures at this point. So, like, that's something that black likes a little bit more. But I don't think it's much better than that. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say... Oh, well, actually, you know what? One cool thing on this is you do get to start doing dumb things with Thonian Nightmare because of the self-mill, so that's cool. But I don't think that's enough to change the rating.
No. 1 card doesn't change your rating.
Not unless it's a really, 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 really important card and super easy to get or busted in some way. But yeah, this is just fine. It's not enough. Okay.
Gao time. Gao Feral Youth. 1 in a red for a 2/2 legendary creature human berserker. Rage. Whenever Gao attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of each end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, Gao deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Alright. Yeah. Feels like Magical Christmas Land to ever get the second part. And it's very slow.
Let's
Because
see.
you got flashback and that's it, right?
Flashback, harmonize, rebuying artifacts. We're trying to end the game quickly, so it's not like you have to try to go for a ton of things. Oh, yeah, you can grave hate with like ghost vacuums and stuff as well.
Sure.
Squee Goblin to Bob comes back to your hand. Which is like, okay. Detective's Phoenix with the bestow cost on it for requiring collect evidence is actually kind of nice for the deck.
Okay.
Not sure. I think you can make a card leave your graveyard about every 1.2 turns. You know, you'll miss one, but you're close enough to once a turn that I think you can get that triggered.
Okay.
Asso attack, lightning rod for damage. Double power, combat tricky stuff. You were really like all in when you play Gal.
We're playing the red mage deck. Quite literally.
Yeah. How good is this? I think it comes close to being able to kill people quick.
I still think it requires too much setup. It's still a little frail.
Yeah, it's really vulnerable to removal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's super vulnerable to removal.
Normally, I wouldn't say that, oh, removal's like such a bad thing. It dies to a sneeze in this format.
Well, yeah. I saw you hovering 4 there. It's like, I was never even thinking 4. I was thinking somewhere between 2s and 3s.
It's like somewhere in here.
Yeah. The big number is enticing. Double damage is a thing you get to do in red. Evasion is not something you get to do too much, but he does increase his toughness decently well. I think he gets the benefit of the doubt 3.
Okay.
It is going to require your entire deck. Like, you are throwing your entire deck at your opponent to make this happen. But I do think you can do it. And do it consistently enough. But it is a challenge. Alright.
Hey,
So we had first Go-Go. I was gonna say, we had first Go-Go, but what about second Go-Go? Alright, Go-Go, Mysterious Mine. 3 in a red for a 2/2 legendary creature wizard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have Go-Go become a copy of another target creature you control until end of turn, except for Go-Go. Its name is still Go-Go. If you do, Go-Go and that creature each get +2/+0 and haste until end of turn, and attack this turn if able.
I'm trying to think. Is there any legendary creature that I really want this effect on? The answer is yes. There are quite a few.
Yeah, so, like, the big thing here is, so you're giving a creature you control haste. It has to attack, but you're giving it haste.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a second copy of it, right? Dude, Slicer. Yeah, like, Slicer and Alexius, well, yes and no for those ones, because, like, you know, Go-Go is not going to copy the stat boosts that they're getting.
Yep.
Atali. There you go. You named the one card.
There you go.
Yeah. Atali is the big one. Similar, anything that's like a big punchy creature that gives value when it attacks.
Oh, hey. Well, let's try it. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Goldless is fine. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's fine. Parapet Thrasher, though, I like a little bit more. I like Dragonhawk. You are just kind of playing Big Stompy with this kind of deck. And your lower power creatures are things that are going to be like, maybe it has double strike or it has some combat advantage thing or evasion that it really wants to have. This is kind of big red. It's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. I don't think we're doing anything busted here. I'm trying to think, like, there's no, you know, when this attacks, untap another target creature and that you get an additional combat or something, because
I mean,
Go-Go is beginning combat on your turn.
So,
Easy way.
Port Razor gets you 6 total extra combats in Magical Christmas Land.
Let me see.
The way it's worded is Court Ranger
Wizard.
can't attack a player, but you're still attacking with Go-Go.
Okay, attack this turn. Yeah, so this is one of those situations where each of them will trigger and untap. But the thing is, like, you'll untap the creature before the extra combat happens. So 3 of those extra combats are going to get wasted.
Okay.
And they have to attack each combat if able, so you might get into some slightly questionable situations. Additionally, worth noting that Go-Go, like, once it becomes a copy, it no longer has this ability.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't have Go-Go go in, swing, copy, switch to a different thing, and cause weird shenanigans that way. So whatever you're committed to for the whole turn. It seems fine. Like, I don't hate this. Is it efficient enough that it's a 4?
I think it's like a 3. Like 1 mana too slow. But even then, I don't know that it actually is, because you're still wanting a bunch of big, dumb things.
Yeah, it's like you're just playing your stat-efficient stuff that generate value when they attack, and this just helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impressive, but it's just like, yeah, I'm playing the stat-efficient creatures that are giving me value. Answer it or die. And it's like, it's board wipes you have to deal with. Like,
what about this guy with the fire dancer girl, Rionia? Yeah. That's certainly a thing you could do. Yeah.
Rionia's an interesting one with it. I don't think it changes the rating again, but like... that's interesting. Okay. I mean...
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say 4s, though. It's another one I'm just not sure about, though. Because again, the support is the thing that kind of gets me, because Big Red is just like... It's not... Red is usually not your best mid-range value deck color. But I think that's a good enough commander to get you there. I personally like it a little bit more than Jaxus, but I don't know. Actually, now I think about it. We have Jaxus a 4/6.
Yeah.
I'm going to adjust some of her rating a little bit. I think she's 4/5 nowadays. But yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
I got Sabin pulled up here. Sabin Master Monk. 4 in red. For a 4/3 legendary creature, human noble monk with double strike. He has Blitz. 2 red, discard a card. So you can get him out. He'll draw a card when he dies, but you have to sacrifice him at the end step. And then you can cast this card from your graveyard using its Blitz ability. Hey, Jason, I heard we don't like commander attacks in this household.
You're right. We sure don't. Man, like... At least he punch?
Yeah.
You like a 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But hey, look. At least we can suplex the train in the game.
Exactly. That's all we needed.
All we needed.
Yeah, I mean, just to give a little more analysis on what we're doing here, like, you can play this as mono red discard, mono red haste, or like mono red aristocrats nonsense. Either in all of these situations, I do not think this is very good, and it's an under-supported area. And even if you try to combine them all together, you're doing this in a very awkward way for a commander that offers you very little. At least, again, at least he punch. But that's about it. Can we agree that white has not been the worst color for a while now? I agree. I think red has been the worst color in Commander for a while.
Yeah. White honestly is the best support color. So
yeah, it's not bad as a primary color anymore. So, still way better as a support color, though. That is 100% true.
It's just hard to adapt red. Like, red wants to do specific things. It is hard to adapt its mechanics in a way that works in multiplayer format. Anyways.
Yeah.
Strago
Okay.
and Relm here.
Before we go on this, Matt, since you've played like every single Final Fantasy game, I legitimately do not remember these characters.
Yeah.
Who the hell were they?
Hmm?
I don't remember these characters.
Yeah, you had to go do a very specific side quest in World of Ruin to actually get them.
Huh.
Yep.
I guess I just never got them.
Yeah.
Alright, well. Anyway, hey, Strago and Relm. 2 and a red for a 1/3 legendary creature, legendary wizard. Or human wizard, you know. Has sketch and lore, so for 2 and a red, tap. Target opponent exiles the top card of their library until they exile an instant, sorcery, or creature card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature spelled this way, it gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice it, activate only as a sorcery.
Damn, I wish this wasn't sorcery speed activation.
Even with sorcery speed activation, we are here to gamble. No clue what we're getting out of this.
Yep.
Could be fine, could be bad. Honestly, it's just how much do we value gambling every turn?
You know, I'm a gacha game player, and even this has been too much gambling for my blood.
Yeah.
So,
the only thing we were getting out of this as like a consistent thing is activated abilities and casting from exile. And, maybe 1 haste.
mm-hmm.
Dang it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how this will go. It's not anything that you build any form of, like, formative strategy of, like, trying to win with this. This puts it in, like, the 2 category.
Yep.
Like, it's not terrible, but it's just, like, you can't do anything consistently enough that I would say that there's any reason to say that you would be winning with this, or you are actively attempting to win, which kind of goes against what the Zur Scale wants to be rating on. It may be a little bit higher, honestly, but I still feel like 2 is a fair spot.
Yeah. Anyways, the man, the myth, the legend himself. It's the Yeti. Umaro Raging Yeti. 5 and a red for a 6/6 Yeti Berserker with Trample at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose 1 at random. Other creatures you control get +3/+0 and gain Trample until end of turn. Discard your hand, then draw 4 cards. Umaro deals 5 damage to any target. It's the Yeti, Jason. The Yeti is here.
I love and hate this card so much. It's just, I love and hate this design so much.
Like, the Yeti from Hearthstone had a glow up and is now in Magic. That's for anybody who's not played Final Fantasy VI. That's all you need to know.
Yep. Alright, so 6 mana for this card is rough.
Mm-hmm.
6 mana for effects that you can't really plan around.
Very bad.
6 mana? 6 mana, though, for all effects that are pretty good. Let's go gambling again. Yeah, let's go!
Yeah, baby!
Yeah, this is another one of those situations where it's like, I can't really build around anything aside from just, like, I don't know, maybe my commander gives me something. This is kind of in the medium red, or big red, stompy style deck territory again.
Yep.
Neat. Cool. Like, 2, 3, probably.
3.
Yeah, it's 1 too much mana for me to love what it's doing, but again, all the random effects that it gives you, none of them hurt you. Except maybe the whole discarding thing, that would maybe hurt you. Just like, yeah, build whatever out of this.
Anyways, onto a signpost on common commanders again. We're here for Locke Cole. 1 blue-black for a 2/3. Legendary creature, human rogue, death touch, lifelink. Whenever Locke Cole deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card.
The 2, and I'm not thinking about it any further.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you enough to work with.
Nope.
All right.
Anyways, hey, look, it's Clown. This is the
Hell yeah!
This is totally Clown everybody wants to talk about, right? Right, Jason?
Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah, like
We're here for this.
Kefka Dancing Mad. 5 black red for a legendary creature, human wizard, 6/6. During your turn, Kefka has indestructible. At the beginning of your end step, exile a card at random from each opponent's graveyard. You may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Then, each player who owns a spell you cast this way loses life equal to its mana value.
Yep.
I don't know why everybody said Kefka was good. Like, this is just not great. Especially for 7 minutes.
Honestly, this was not terrible, though. It is... Hey, look, more gambling. Like...
More gambling!
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get... So, exile a card at random from each opponent's graveyard. So you're getting 3 cards a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I mean,
you don't hit 3 lands.
Yeah, you may hit lands, which is a real risk. Honestly, given the percentages here, that means you're going to get 2 spells a turn.
Yep.
The mana values of those spells may not matter too much, and obviously they're not going to be as good for you as they are for your opponents. Not super powerful. If this was a 5-mana 5/5, it'd be better. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's... Boy, is this a 3.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it's just, you know, you're in Rakdos, so you can at least ramp. It has indestructible on your turn, so, like, you know, it's... Your opponents have to deal with it on their turns. Or exile it. Just make it 5 mana. I think you can get away with it at 6 mana. 5 mana is where it becomes a little more questionable because of just how much value it offers. But they've certainly restricted it from being too good.
Guys, my cat is launching a bunch of complaints right next to me. She's being very talkative right now, and I don't know what to do.
Talk back.
That would be weird. Anyways, here's Setzer. Wandering Gambler. Oh boy. Jason, don't tell me.
You want to gamble?
1 black red for a 2/2 legendary creature human rogue pilot. Whenever Setzer enters, create the Blackjack, a legendary 3/3 colorless vehicle artifact creature token. Or no, I'm sorry, artifact vehicle token with crew 2 and flying. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, flip a coin. Whenever you win a coin flip, create 2 tap treasure tokens.
Tap treasures, yes, that's a little mad. Comparing Clown to Plarg and Asari, yes, but also Plarg and Asari, your opponents have choice over what you cast, which is very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
This one, at least, is you don't get choice over what you cast, but you may hit a land. Anyway, hey, it's Rakdos vehicles and coin flips.
2 of Jason's least favorite mechanics.
Boy, do you know it! Even trying to set aside my own personal biases on something like this. This is just, like, meh.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the vehicle doesn't have haste. You can crew, like, a 2 cost or something. And then you maybe get extra value out of your vehicle. In the meantime, you're playing, like, this artifact aristocrat-y nonsense. Yeah, it feels like 2 territory for me. Oops. I accidentally put that in the wrong spot for a second there. As for what this is doing, like, it's such a narrow build.
You're playing Rakdos vehicles.
Now, we do have one more Rakdos commander that we missed here, though. Locke.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
It's Locke, but again. And at least this time it's a rare.
It is? Yeah, sure, because that totally matters in precons, right?
Uh-huh.
Wait, there we go.
Rarity's a figment of our imagination. Anyway, hey, here's Locke. Locke, Treasure Hunter. 1 in a Rakdos for a 2/3. It's a legendary creature, human rogue. Locke can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Hey! Whenever Locke attacks, each player mills a card. If a land card was milled this way, create a treasure token. Until end of turn, you may cast a spell from among those cards. A spell. 1.
It's like not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
What is it with this deck, this Mardu deck in gambling? There's so much gambling here.
Yeah, I know. It's not too bad. It's fine. Yeah, said it gets you a card.
Mm-hmm.
It is likely to get you a treasure every turn. Untapped treasure.
Yeah.
Noteworthy.
It's pretty good.
And it is likely to get you a spell that you don't mind casting.
Yeah.
Do you actively want to cast it? No, but at least you get the treasure, which is something. It's, it's still kind of like a 3, maybe a 4.
I actually think it might be a 4.
Think so?
Yeah, like, Skulk, its effect is, like, not bad.
Yeah.
You do get to at least choose what spell out of the ones you mill.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, it's another situation of theft and whatnot. So it's just like... It doesn't have a super ton of direction on what the commander wants to do. Aside from, make it unblockable and punch your opponents. And do some treasure stuff.
Don't worry, guys. We're getting to the good stuff. I promise there will be commanders rated higher than a 7 this stream.
Yeah, this has been
It's been pretty rough.
Yeah. It's not going to improve immediately, but we will get there.
We'll get there. We got to ban
We will get there.
The Returners leader, Boros, red and white for a 1/3 legendary creature, human cleric rebel. With prey. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from among cards in your graveyard that were put there from anywhere other than the battlefield this turn. Whenever you attack, you may pay 1 and discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
We were so close to greatness.
We were.
Okay, so we are rummage.deck because self-mill.deck is not this color combination.
Mm-hmm.
We can cast 1 that was put there this turn, which will be a little awkward with, what you draw into because you are rummaging. I really wish this did not have the pay 1 to rummage.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish it would work the other way. However, I do give it the credit that this is whenever you attack. Bannon does not have to attack.
Yep.
So it's actually, huge for making this deck better and being more consistent, as it is at least card advantage. It's a fine value commander. It's not doing a ton, but it is, once again, and we've been talking about this every time we do one of these Zur Scale streams at this point, red discard decks, this is a fundamental architect that we are now really improving upon.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're so close. I would be happy to go ahead and give this the 4.
Yeah.
I think it is close.
It is, right on the cusp of being really good.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing. We keep getting red discard cards. In fact, we literally just got one in the main set.
Yes.
It is almost there.
And, I didn't also mention this. Color support-wise, pairing discard with white is actually quite good because of white's reanimation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can reanimate a creature. You can discard a creature that you want to reanimate, or you can discard a creature that will be reanimated to bring back another thing. So you can get a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah.
Decent mid-rangey stuff. And again, 2-mana commanders. 2-mana commanders tend to be pretty decent. Alright. So, Edgar?
Edgar time.
Edgar Part 2. Alright. Edgar, Master Machinist. 2 in Aboros for a 2/4. Legendary creature, Human Artificer Noble. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an artifact spell from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, the artifact enters tapped. Whenever Edgar attacks, it gets +X/+O, where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Hey, remember that whole thing about discarding cards for value and like doing all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Pretty solid.
Turns your card advantage into card advantage.
Yeah.
It's punchy.
It punches.
Works with equipment.
Works pretty good. 4.
3. You say 4?
Yeah. I mean, recasting artifacts is a very powerful thing, even if they enter tap.
Artifacts are good things to get back, even. And this color combination, yeah, it's probably... I'll give it 4. That's a little on the benefit outside for me, but I think that's fine.
I don't know. We just played the normal Osgear package. Seems pretty solid. It's just rather than tapping an Osgear, we just get to recast it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Okay.
Anyways, don't
Mog
worry,
time?
guys. Mog.
Mog, Moogle Warrior. 1 in Aboros for a 1/2 legendary creature, Moogle Warrior, with lifelink. And at the beginning of your end step, each player may discard a card. Each player who discarded a card this way draws a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, you make a 1/1 Moogle with lifelink, or 1/2 Moogle with lifelink. And if a non-creature card was discarded this way, you put a 1/1 counter on each Moogle you control. It gives your opponent something, it's very tempting, but you get something quite nice out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, so obviously you are going to do this at almost every chance you can get.
Yep.
Because again,
you are getting one of the 2 effects for guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. See Mogs here. Daniel. Settle down now, buddy.
Goodness gracious, dude.
Yeah, Mog is solid, honestly, because like this is one of those tricky ones where even if none of your opponents are engaging with it, you do have the options to be able to get something pretty decent out of this. Again, red-white discard, like this is a discard thing. It's in step, not earlier in your turn, which is very relevant. But like,
it is something to be said of, hey, this commander can build an army even if it's very slow.
mm-hmm.
Well, like once you're done putting creature tokens out,
Yep.
by God, are they getting big? Very, like not very fast, but like at a decent rate.
Yeah, and this is going to be a relevant part of this as well, is I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go like, yes, play all the Moogles. I don't think you need to put a single Moogle in your deck. Like, your commander is the only one you need.
I think you play the Moogle's Valor.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you play that one. That's the only Moogle card you put in your deck.
Sure. You can also probably do Stiltskin.
You shouldn't.
I mean, it's not too big of a deal. It's just being a 1/1 Moogle, or a 1-drop new Moogle that comes down earlier. And Delivery Moogle is also fine as a tutor. But like, you don't need Moogles in the deck. You just play Mog.
We're just playing Mog. Play Mog. We're abusing discard synergies.
Yeah. At minimum, you get every turn you are looting. Like, compared to Bannon, who is not guaranteeing you actually loot every turn, because maybe you can't attack, right? And comparing to Edgar, who wants you to do the looting stuff, but you need to draw into it, so that you're able to cast your other things, and you're not necessarily pushing... Like, you're going to get good value out of it, but you're not always going to get good value out of it, if that makes sense. Whereas Mog is just like, yep, I'm going to tempt my opponents into giving me good stuff, and if they give me good stuff, I get to benefit from this more.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I like this. Maybe 4.
Maybe 4. Very on the cusp.
Yeah, he's a nice little cutesy boy. Actually, I don't even remember gender on this one, or if that matters. Give it 9 for the support there, and then the flexibility is honestly quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like you can do your discard stuff, but honestly, just like whatever. It's a pretty good self-contained engine. Oh, we're here.
He's here.
Well.
Well. There's the clown.
Can I do this one?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. It is Kefka, Court Mage. 2 and a Grixis for a 4/5 legendary creature human wizard. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each opponent each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each type among cards discarded this way. Then you can pay 8 generic mana. Each opponent will sacrifice a permanent of their choice. You transform Kefka. Only do this as a sorcery. On the backside of this bad boy, we have a Avatar Wizard that is a 5/7, and with flying, and whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards.
By God.
Oh, yeah.
By God.
Siphon Mine in the command zone, maybe a bit better at times. Yes, this is just... It's so good. Like, it's just... enters or attacks, right? We can do our hasty stuff and just accrue some value that way. We can do our reanimation stuff. We can do our flicker stuff. Like, there's just all sorts of generic good things you can do with Kefka. It is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the backside is definitely good. Do not get me wrong.
Yep.
I don't want to overplay this issue. It does cause you to lose to an Orcish Bowmasters.
100%.
In theory, if you have, say, 60 cards in your deck, because you are playing this, this type of deck, you will have drawn a lot of cards. And your opponent plays an Orcish Bowmasters on your turn. They can ping each of your opponents for 30, and then force you to draw a card in every step in the process, which will cause them to keep doing this. And if the worst case scenario is they can start pinging themselves and keep it going.
Yep, to deck you. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. In theory, they could deck you for 120 cards doing this.
Yep.
Well, 139 cards. Damn it. 119 cards. There we go.
119. It's a really funny card, though. It's a really funny backside.
It's a really funny thing. Honestly, I don't think that's going to come up too often, but it is something to keep in mind for my people who are trying to play at the higher power levels. If you were expecting Orcish Bowmasters, and this is a card that I would prefer to play at higher power tables, we'll get to that rating in just a second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not a whole lot more I need to say on that, because it's good.
Yeah.
Play your discard, play your draw.
Play your flicker effects.
It's giving you so many options to work with, and it's all just solid.
So, this, I would like to say, this for sure reads discard a card, draw 2. Correct? More than likely draw 2.
Yeah, pretty much guaranteed. You could be in a weird situation where literally everyone discards a land, for example.
It's going to be very rare, though, when that happens.
Yeah, very rare that it happens. I mean, at minimum, it's, you discard a card. You could run your opponents out of cards and they don't have things to discard as well. That could lead to a weird situation, but like most of the time your opponents are going to have something to discard. It is Commander. So, how much, hold on. So, well, when you go for the win, how much resources are you leaving your opponent if you are flickering and attacking him? Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you are reducing your opponent's resources quite a bit. Now, that's not to say that your opponents aren't going to get set up with heuristic studies and things like that, so, like, you should be able to reduce the resources that they have a fair amount. Maybe the green player who hasn't gotten their card draw out yet is going to be, oh, I put so much into ramp and now you got rid of my big thing and I have nothing to do. Right? Stuff like that's going to happen with this. That said, like, Kefka is, what, 8?
Oh, easily.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
I think 8's the starting point. Argument for 9 or no?
Nah.
I lean more towards the 8, but...
I lean Yeah, almost entirely on the 8.
I'll take it. 10 out of 10 on that color support. Flexibility, honestly, pretty high in a weird way. About a 6 for the for the flexibility on it, because you can just do like kind of generic. You can just play this as a generic value card. You can play this as built around draw and discard. You can build this as flicker. You can build it as reanimation.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that flexibility might be a 7 then. It's really flexible.
Extremely flexible.
All right. How many more we got to go? 4?
We got 4. And we got another extremely spicy one. We got Celis Rune Knight, 1 red, white, black for a legendary creature. Human Wizard Knight 4/4. When Celis enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. Whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Okay, Murderous Redcap, the deck.
Okay, yeah.
We broke it.
All right. Okay, so let's first address it as just the generic cast from graveyard stuff. Celeste has this little, like, flicker wheel stuff that's going on. It's pretty decent at doing that, keeping your cards up, playing that mid-rangey value pile, reanimator nonsense, right? Okay, cool. We talked about that.
Neat.
Now let's just talk about how this...
That's not what anybody's doing.
Yeah, that's not what you really have to care about. That's like the bottom floor of this thing, and that's already at least an average deck at the floor, right? The ceiling and the more consistent thing that you're doing. So, the boy, Murderous Redcap. For those unfamiliar with Murderous Redcap, this is 2 and a hybrid red-black, hybrid red-black for a 2/2 legendary creature, or not legendary, creature goblin assassin with, when it enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target, and it has persist, meaning that when it dies, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter on it. Celeste causes it, when it comes back, it'll enter, get a 1/1 counter on it, canceling out those counters, so now it can just ETB and do 2 damage again. Which, importantly, can be to itself.
Yep.
So, Celeste plus Murderous Redcap is an infinitely large Celeste.
Yes. And it's on each creature, so an infinitely large Blood Artist, an infinitely large Sephiroth, an infinitely large... Insert generic Mardu Aristocrats piece here, because that's what we're actually playing. It's just...
to answer Wolfsbane's question, Sultai is better for removal than Grixis is, if you're leaving out white.
Yep.
Just Sultai hits better, other things more. As for the flicker effects for sculpting the hand, that's excellent. But the thing I cannot emphasize enough on Celeste here, we have created an infinite loop, an infinite sack loop combo without a sack outlet.
Yes.
I don't know if I can even think of another card that
that
enables that.
There is not.
Yeah, like, even Yawgmoth, who has it built into him, is still the sack outlet for that.
Yeah, so there are many scenarios where if your opponent who's playing Celeste casts a Murderous Redcap, you need to counter it, or else you will die on the spot.
Yep. Counter it, kill Celeste, or have instant speed graveyard interaction. The combo angles of this are so strong, and we were just talking about from like the 2-card aspect. It does require a third piece. Like, to actually kill all of your opponents, it does require a third piece.
Mm-hmm.
But it only requires 3 pieces. And there's a ton of different ways you can do that. You can do it with Goblin Bombardment, you can do it with literally any sack outlet, if Murderous Redcap's the piece to it. You can do it with, if you're doing like Putrid Goblin, for example, you may need it to be the Goblin Bombardment, or you can swap it over to being a Altar of Dementia, right? There's just so many different ways you can turn this into infinite. I don't remember, I feel like there is one, but I can't remember for sure if there's a sack outlet that's a free sack outlet that gives you surveilling. Is that just Zahar?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a once a turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily the one we want to work with. But if you do happen to have another way to keep milling yourself in the process to do this, like you can potentially get something into your graveyard and reanimate moving through things. So there's a lot of different ways to go about this and have this kill. This is really powerful. This is actually a CDH viable commander doing just this, actually.
Yep.
So, hot take 9?
Easily.
It's weird to think that this is actually better than Kefka, but I think it is.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, right? Like,
Just good.
either that or it's like an 8-10 split, because I do genuinely think that this thing is just like, it's so good. But it's only got like 2 builds. It's just that build is so good compared to the flexibility of Kefka. The fact that you had Zergo deck that you're converting into Lightning / Ishin, yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
I think I do kind of think of them as different decks, even though they are doing very similar things, because this is very much dedicated towards the I'm just going to try to kill you as a dedicated combo deck.
Mm-hmm.
While doing some value stuff along the way. But yeah, man, it's good.
All right.
All right.
It's time for my
Terra.
girl. Once we get all the tabs closed. It's Terra, Herald of Hope. We're red, white, black for a 3/3 legendary creature, human, wizard, warrior. With Trance, at the beginning of combat on your turn, mill 2 cards, then Terra gains flying until end of turn. Whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 generic. When you do, return target creature card from, or with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
It's Alesha for the modern day.
Yeah, this is just strictly better Alesha, right?
Pretty close to. The generic mana cost in Alesha is quite useful.
Yeah.
I have to remember exact wording on Alesha again, since we are just going to make the 1-for-1 comparison, because these are so close to each other. So for a reminder for what Alesha Who Smiles at Death is 2 and a red for a 3/2 legendary creature, human warrior with first strike. Whenever she attacks, you may pay a hybrid white-black, white-black. If you do, return target creature with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. A lot of people say that, like, one of the arguments I hear is people saying that Alesha is better for combo stuff compared to Celeste, compared to Terra, because Terra has to actually hit. But, like, Terra costs generic mana, gets you 3 power things, and gives itself evasion, and puts cards into your graveyard.
Squaldos the Reborn without paying the 2? Sure.
Yeah.
Terra has flying. Friendly reminder, flying is, like, stapled onto this card.
Oh, there's 3 very important factors compared to Squall. Gets flying, 1 mana less, gives you red. And I really cannot emphasize enough how important that red is.
And also, Jason, it fills the graveyard. You forgot the 4th thing there. Squall doesn't fill the graveyard.
That's true. Yeah, that's a comparison. Like, there's...
I'm tired of being gaslit into people saying this card is mid as fuck. It's not. I'm tired of it, Jason.
It's really not.
This card is good.
It is just better than Alesha. Like, there's maybe some things to say of, like, there is some merit to Alesha, but, like, I don't know, like, 3 power is such a huge difference compared to 2 power. Like, that alone just has me going, like, yeah, we really should be looking at more of what Terra is doing by comparison. Because, like, even on the simplest side of things, like, I now get an Aurelia the War Leader. I feel like that card's good here. Or the Sister Hospitalis, Hospitaller for another reanimation effect.
Oh, my FOMO is just a really good card in my deck.
Yeah, like
Like,
I feel like they're super comparable. I don't think that. Well, I do feel that Terra is better. I don't feel like it's leaps and bounds better. It's just like, one step up.
mm-hmm.
And before that, I want to say, because we're doing our direct comparison to Alessia. So we have Alessia in at 5s. I do believe that 5 is the correct rating for Alessia. I just want to update that slightly to be 5-6 because the optimized builds of Alessia are quite good. And I think the optimized builds of Terra are going to be on the same par.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they're going to be better than that. I almost want to give Terra the 7.
You know what? I'm down.
Yeah, it's like...
No, I
feel
just
like-
looked at this creature that I could. Yeah, I'm down. We can reanimate Knights of the Round? Hell yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah, like, even when you do the non-combo versions of this, I feel like this is just better. It's very similar, but it's just that's that 2 steps up.
And notably, if you give her double strike, which is actually not hard to do, you can reanimate 2 things.
Oh, man, I didn't realize people were talking about Squall for CDH. That's interesting. Is it just because they're trying to, like, do the stacksier side of things, or is there a combo they're necessarily trying to assemble? Because, like...
I don't see it.
There's a lot of issues trying to put stuff into your graveyard in Black-White here. Like, at least from the mill side of things. You don't also get a whole lot of looting, so, like, it's kind of more stuff that you put into play. I'll be very interested to see some of that, and when we look at Squall in more detail, I'll have to keep that in mind. As for the flexibility here, it's not really flexible. You're still just kind of doing the same thing. So, 7 for Terra.
Just a good card.
Yes. Okay. The next
Hey,
Terra.
Didn't we just talk about Terra? I thought we both
We had
agreed
first
this-
Terra. But what about second Terra?
What about, I think, Terra Magical Adept. 1 red, green for a 4/2 legendary creature, human, wizard, warrior. When Terra enters mill 5 cards, put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. Then she has transfer 4 red, green, tap, exile, transform her. Activate only as a sorcery. She becomes Esper Terra, a 6/6 flying saga. The first 3 chapters are all the same. Ugh. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put up to 3 war counters on it. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next instant. And then it has, for chapter number 4, add white, blue, green, or black, red, green, and then return her face up. Which makes this a 5-color deck.
Yes. Importantly, this is a 5-color deck. This is not a Gruul deck. Okay. This is one of the most convoluted and weird commanders to look at for how it plays because of the whole mill and then put things into your hand and then the whole, like, copying and do stuff. Alright. Here's level 1, and where 90%, or not 90, but about 60% of players are at. Play all the summon cards with this.
Yep.
Because Terra's a summoner.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Neat.
That deck is like a 4.
Alright.
You get all the Enchantress support. That's cool. The summons themselves are still a little bit too weak to really care about this, and fortunately it says non-legendary enchantment, and all of your summons happen to not be legendary, so that is useful, but then you can start doing some weird things.
Alright.
So,
let's go down the next route of, well, I don't know. There's this wacky enchantment called Food Chain.
yes.
And
This lets you now go dig deep for it.
that's I heard chain food wins games, Jason. CDH players keep trying to tell me that. They're probably
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sold on the food chain stuff with Terra. Like, I think it's solid, but I don't know if it wins games super quickly, because it's just the amount of mana you have to put into it to make it happen. But, your 5-color food chain, like, you can figure some stuff out.
And then we've got the really, really cute deck, where we spark double the Esper Terra. And we win on the spot.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the turbo jank. And I cannot emphasize enough of how much of a turbo jank this is. Of being able to spark double this Terra, or utilizing the single enchantment in the game that has ETB proliferate.
Yep.
I'm blanking on the name of it. It's like Mesmerizing Drouse or something like that. You have some just insanity you can do with the whole copying thing, and just having an enchantment and a creature enter every turn because you just have these 2 cards. It's super weird. It's super, super weird. But you can set up these weird situations of either, if you're using the proliferate one, you can mill out your whole deck, get every enchantment that you would need to care about, and then set up a combo from there. And if you do it with the Spark Double version, you just need to have like some thing that cares about a creature ETBing, and you kill your opponent that way.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. That's all I gotta do.
I don't know how to evaluate this because it's so different compared to every build of the deck.
Yeah. Also, I keep forgetting that the tokens that you make that are copies have haste. So yeah, you just win with that. That's a Splinter Twin combo situation.
Yep.
It's so all over the place because the baseline build that most people are going to do is bad. Like, it's not it's not very good, right? Like, it's not a very strong deck to do this for this 5-color Saga's nonsense. We've already done this before. It didn't work out too great.
Mm-hmm.
Adding in summon creatures does not necessarily make that better. But when you go this combo route, it's so... does Sakashima also just win with Esper Terra? No, because that copy is legendary.
Yep.
In both cases, Sakashima is... Or, well, you're talking about... No. Sakashima of 1,000 Faces is the one that makes it so the legend rule does not apply. However, you are not able to copy it. Because Terra specifies non-legendary. You need Spark Double or an equivalent thing to do so. Which, to be fair, actually, now I'm thinking about it, there's plenty of sorceries that make token copies of a legendary creature, and those would all also work.
Yep.
In fact, I believe there is one with flashback, question mark?
I think you specifically need it to be Spark Double, though, because you need it to be not named Terra.
Oh, no, because the ones that make the legendary copies of something, they themselves will not be... The ones I'm referring to are non-legendary.
Okay.
Let me double check to see if I can find the one that works from your graveyard that I believe makes non-legendary copies. I will have to check that. I believe it has flashback, and it's a relatively new card, so...
Yeah, I knew about the Arenas. I just couldn't get the name of it. Goodness gracious, this card's weird, man.
Yeah. Okay, my apologies. I was incorrect on that. Self-Reflection is the name of the card. However, it is just a copy of target creature you control.
Mm.
It is not it does not make it non-legendary. Same with Cackling Counterpart. They're kind of the same card with just different costs.
Yep. Vile Duplication is the one that... Arenas' Vile Duplication is the 4-mana sorcery that makes a non-legendary copy token.
Yes. Yes, there might be one more that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Non-legendary. Well, I'd have to check the wording on it, but either way, just to keep it moving. Yeah, I think there's plenty of options for this deck that can go ranging anywhere from the 4 to like 8, 9 category. Maybe. It's hard for me to say how consistent and effective those are and how much you want to supplement with the like random enchantment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, where are you feeling on this? I feel like it definitely split rating.
I feel like it's split rating. Man, actually, I don't think the Saga deck is as bad as you're thinking it is.
Alright.
Be-
So
and also
what,
you
is it
can just-
average?
I think it's average as a
Okay.
baseline rating.
Okay, then how high does the combo decks go?
I mean, 9.
They can go up to a 9?
Up to a 9. Specifically in the vein of the food chain breach, because she does set up breach. Like,
Okay. No, that's true. Setting up breach as well. Yeah. It's so hard to rate that. Honestly. Which is funny.
mhm.
Because like this feels like I was so ready to like throw away this commander the first time I saw it. Like it didn't interest me at all. It's just, hooray, we made another 5-color Saga's commander, right? But these combo decks are crazy how they can operate.
Yeah, I mean, I said it's one of those, like, this is honestly really hard to evaluate because it's just all over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah, I think so. Normal rating would be a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Optimized would be a 9.
Yep.
Support's a 10. Easy enough. Flexibility is probably a 4 because the Saga's build is like, a 1. But once you
Yeah.
start getting into all these combos, it gets to these really weird builds. But I don't think there's enough like generic builds that are non-Saga stuff that you would want to that I'd want to give it more than a 4. And then the power for the card itself is a 6.
Yeah. Is there any enchantments that like I really care about their ETBs?
Care about the ETBs. Maybe. I mean, inevitably there are some, but I'm trying to think of like ones that ETB and like immediately flicker something, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't immediately know that for sure. Huh. Nanogene conversion. Less familiar with that card. Let me take a look at that.
That is certainly a Magic the Gathering card, I think.
So, Nanogene conversion. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. It doesn't really work the way you would want because the issue is you didn't have her enter the battlefield, so they would all enter with no loyalty counters. Or no, they would have no lore counters on them for the Saga, so like it wouldn't do anything. They would just be 7/7s with flying, right?
Yep.
Or 6/6 with flying. That's the backside.
That is the backside.
Yeah.
6/6 flyer.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nanogene conversion wouldn't do a ton here, but it would. I mean, it would at least give you the option to have more things to clone potentially. But I guess if you could do it in your upkeep, then that gives you a way, or do it in your upkeep or draw step. That would give you a way to have a copy of Terra in play for when you go and resolve your second or third chapter on Terra.
Mm-hmm.
Quantum Misalignment? There are so many weird cards, and I am having to look up for this one. Because this plays with a lot of the janky cards you wouldn't think about. Except it isn't legendary. Yeah, Quantum Misalignment is... it's basically the Vile Duplication. Yeah, Ireniclus is Vile Duplication, but it just has Rebound instead. Which does work for this, by the way. Like, that would also work, because they would just ETB, make a copy of itself, because it doesn't say another target thing. Yeah, it's crazy how this thing works. All the different ways to try to make this go infinite. Okay, I think I'm done talking about Terra Magical Adept. We got one more commander to talk about before we are done for the night.
Don't worry, guys. It won't take too long.
Alright. The Warring Triad. 3 generic mana for a 5/5 legendary creature, legendary artifact creature god with flying, trample, haste. As long as there are fewer than 8 cards in your graveyard, the Warring Triad isn't a creature, and you may tap, mill a card, target player adds 1 mana of any color. Okay.
Legendary Milliken. Interesting.
Yeah, it is actually kind of unique how it's doing things, getting 8 cards in your graveyard in colorless. Okay, that's a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta sacrifice a fair number of artifacts or lands to make that happen. And the reward is a 5/5 with trample and haste. It's like, whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah, somewhere in the 2, maybe 3 category, honestly, because like it's decent static.
Probably a 2.
Yeah.
You're still restricting yourself to colorless. So
Yes, and doing something that your color support is not particularly strong in. Oh, the Warring Triad in the 99 of a lot of decks is actually quite reasonable. Like
there are so many decks that would love a Milliken that adds colors, like
that, and the 3 keywords that are on it are quite nice for like keyword matters decks. The fact that it's not a creature right away is actually quite beneficial to some decks as well. Although that you can reanimate it too, but I don't think that really matters too much. It's just a nice little like budget-friendly support piece, assuming that it's not stupid expensive, and I see it as currently $4, which is like not where I want to be.
I was gonna say I don't think this will stay budget friendly. Once people realize just how good of a support piece this actually is for a lot of decks. So
yeah. That covers everything that we had for this first one.
A lot of bad. Some really absurd highs, though.
Yes. It is a little disappointing how much of the bulk of this is 3 or lower. This is not too terribly uncommon with Zur Scale that we have a good number of cards that are in the 3 to 4 category. Did not get nearly as many 5s and 6s as I would like to see, though. Like,
yeah, they're coming. Don't worry. The set's cooking.
It is cooking. It was not cooking with like the first 5 games of Final Fantasy, though.
I mean, welcome to the first 5 games of Final Fantasy. Outside of 4's like main story.
It's understandable. Those weren't the games that people were the biggest fans of, so they weren't the ones that WotC put the most attention into. Which, you know what, it's a fine trade-off. And honestly, so many of these cards are just interesting or good. Still, like, what's at the top is just, it's interesting to work with.
I will say this, there are a lot of cards here, that even though we're rating them low for Zur Scale, and the 99 of a lot of decks, man, I'm kind of looking at some of these cards like, this is pretty spicy meatball in the 99.
General Leo's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it does a cool thing. Like, is this not another commander that just works well with loyal retainers? Like, I'll have to double check again to make sure that I'm getting my mana values right for loyal retainers. But, you know, that's something that you can do.
Go-Go is like one of the most hilarious 99 pieces you could ever put in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Tellah and the Emperor both slot into any Izzet Spellslinger deck. Don't at me. Speaking
The Anonymous Rex still doesn't get double strike. It won't. Not allowed.
Jason, I mean, speaking of Izzet Spellslingers, they'll just have to tune in next time, right?
Hmm?
For the spicy Izzet Spellslinger.
Yes, next time is we are probably going to be covering 7 through 9 on the next one, right?
Yes, I do believe that is my intention.
All right.
7's got quite a few, just like 6 did.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's fine to say, like, we're probably going to be doing that stream tomorrow, assuming all things go well.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, due to both Matt and I being stuck in work jail, it may take a little longer for us to get to the rest of the commanders, unfortunately. But 7 through 9, we should be getting done tomorrow.
Tomorrow for sure. Unless, some weird circumstance happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then after that, good luck. we will try, but I can tell you now, if it's happening from, at least for me, for next week, any day from Sunday through Friday, I cannot do it.
Yep.
But yeah. Thank you all very much for coming out and watching Zur Scale talking with us today. This is a very fun one, and I really appreciate everyone being here. If you guys were unaware that we have now gotten YouTube memberships as an option, so we are currently retiring our Patreon for a little bit, at least, as that platform has gotten very difficult to work with. And we are trying out YouTube memberships as our primary means of doing this for now. So if you are interested and you want to get your nice little Smooth Brain logo next to your name, you can join our YouTube membership for as low as, I believe our lowest is $2. So, nice and easy. And other than that, you can always look forward to our normal gameplay videos that we usually will have every Saturday. We did have to do Sunday this time just because editor was stuck with construction noise all week. I feel so bad for him. He could not do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all once again. I'm tired and going to work tomorrow, so have a nice day.
Good night, guys.